is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason, and the bro, Lukey Stay. He's back in. Everything is happening. We're all good. We're back in. We're back in the studio. Mace, you
That was
were
weird,
away.
wasn't it? The Zoom? It was all right. It turned out all right.
Yeah, it turned out good.
That's the first one I've ever done. I was like, fuck, is this
How was
gonna
it?
work out? It was all right. It was good.
The gig up and going.
Yeah,
good?
it was. They really looked after us, flew the family up, in-laws and everything like that.
Nice.
Like went to SeaWorld and all that sort of shit. I haven't done that for ages. And we haven't had a family trip away.
Yeah.
Like since Arch was born.
Or would you otherwise?
COVID, all that sort of shit, and then
True.
just work's getting away, and then just couldn't get out of there. So
As in leaving New South Wales.
yeah.
That's
And then
nice.
he's old enough to like. You should have seen the little fucking demon. When we went to SeaWorld, right? And like, there's a proper roller coaster, right? There's a little baby one, and this one called the Leviathan, right? He goes, "Let's go on that one." I said, "He's never been on a roller coaster." I said, "All right." I said, "This is a big. This is
No, the Easter show or anything like that before?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I'm not taking him to that shit. Fucking yeah.
What's wrong with Easter
No,
show?
fuck, it's too many people.
Oh, it's too busy for you.
It's just
No,
too,
it is too
yeah,
busy
it's
for you.
too many,
Yeah,
mate.
that
Yeah,
makes
especially this time. And I went, so no one was up at SeaWorld anyway.
Yep.
He goes, let's go on that. I went, all right. And it was a proper one. He seemed just tucked into me and just took it.
Yeah.
I said, oh, I'm so proud of you. I was just like,
nice.
how good was that? We went on the other ones, just nothing scares him.
That doesn't interest me.
But he's
any
scared
of that
of
stuff.
But he's scared of the dark.
We'll see.
Because he's little mummy's boy. I love it.
When you were a kid, did you love roller coasters?
Fucking oath.
Yeah, so did
Loved
I.
it.
Lukey? Big
You would have
roller
gone on the rickety old one at
The
Wonderland
demon.
or
Oh,
whatever
the-
it was
With the
called.
bush beast.
The demon
The
and
bush
the bush
beast.
beast.
Bush beast,
And
yeah.
then you had the kiddies one down the other end.
Yeah.
All like, only
Yeah.
the juniors go down there. But the big dog, I loved it. I
Love it.
We went on, what did we go on? So we were for Christmas time, we were up at the Hunter Valley. What were we doing? Oh, I was up there for the Jack Newton Classic.
Yeah.
And we they had a Christmas a festival up there and they had a bit of a fair. I went on, what's the one with the big circle where they've got the carriages on it? But you just sit in it. What's it called?
Yeah, that's the boring as hell. The big one in
Ferris wheel.
London.
The Ferris wheel.
He went on a Ferris wheel.
I hated it.
It's boring.
Oh, no. I was shitting myself.
Oh,
so we were
shit.
sitting in there, right? And Lenny's
Love of life.
Just 2 at the time, just turned 2. She's sort of shaking around and stuff because she's just rat's ass.
fucking-
And I'm sitting in this Ferris wheel just like shaking midair. You know how they stop because they've got to pick up the people that are below? Hated it.
Really?
Yeah, shit
I
myself.
fucking love shit like that. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So I went on every ride with him.
Yeah.
And apart from the ones I just couldn't fit in, because there's like some where you're just too tall.
Yeah.
And then one,
Too small, too tall.
Yeah. And but that Leviathan one was a proper. Look, there's 10-year-olds that don't go on that. Little Arsh just flying around. I looked to the side and he was just fucking tucked into me.
Yeah.
And then I said, are you good? And this thing was lethal. I was fucking back was getting thrown out. He goes, let's do it again. I was like, wow, I love it.
Yeah, nice, mate.
No, it's good 5 days. Thank you to Star City Gold Coast, mate, for
Yep.
putting us up. It was really, really, really good.
All
Really
right, well,
appreciate
why
it.
the
And
vibes-
sorry. Tailor Made. Remember, I
Yeah.
got the connect with Tailor Made. Look out. So Jared Love from Tailor Made. So I went there on the last
Tailor
day.
Made.
Tailor Made, yeah, not
It sounded
Tailor
like you
Made.
said Taylor May.
Golf clubs.
Tailor
Everybody
Made.
knows how shit a golfer I am.
Yeah.
Now look out. Tailor Made just personally made me like some proper clubs.
Oh,
And they're
the
gonna say,
hookups.
yeah, the hookup from fucking Tailor Made.
All right.
A couple of years ago, I said, so I rang him. I said, I'm on the Gold Coast and I'm not on a bender.
Yeah.
So it's different. I can come in. And he goes, yeah, sweet. So on the way home on the Friday, 11 o'clock in there, I was like hitting it against it
Yep.
was proper
Machine.
done. Like,
Yeah, so you got
against the
fitted.
machine, got proper fitted out.
Yep.
Like he took my club speed and I was spinning out. The driver changed clubs, the length and the everything. He sorted me out. The bag. So
Makes a huge difference.
massive difference. Yeah, like he reckons. Obviously, I got a lot of deficiencies, but he goes, get a couple of lessons. He goes, you'll be all right.
Well, see, the thing is, and like I'm 6'3", but you're 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah,
so
it's
when
a
you
big
use
difference.
mine, you're still having to reach
Yeah,
into it.
but a
Once
couple-
you get it extended.
Yeah, but a couple of little tips he gave me, I was like, okay. And then I was hitting the ball. I hit like a 3-iron, 3-wood, 240
3-iron.
meters. On the finger when I
far.
got hold of it.
That's
He
pretty
goes,
hard.
you
Yeah.
get hold of it, and it showed you where you hit it on the club.
Yeah.
I was spinning out. I was just like, no way, is this proper? Like, is this like? He goes, yeah. He goes, now. He goes, you'll be all right. He goes, you'll be. I said, I just want to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, because we're getting involved. We got Levels Golf Day this year coming up, and we get involved. We might go to Narrabri and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
I just want to get through 18 holes without being fucking. Maybe I'm just bored shitless.
Well, also not having to sit on my cart with
and
me and use
Ambrose.
my clubs. You
yeah,
can go on a
and I
different
could
cart.
go somewhere and
Yeah.
I sort of just get around and Yeah, I'll have all the gear, no idea. I think that's me.
Do you see that draft interview in the NFL? You would have seen 100%. He talks about how they rated it as one of the best draft interviews he's ever had. He's sitting there and they're like, oh, what do you like to do in the off season? He goes, oh, I play a bit of golf. Not Tiger Woods, but I'm Tiger could have been.
Tiger Goodwoods. No,
Was that Edwards? Was that
Do you know the clip
Tiger
though?
Woods? Something, yeah. His name is Keon Coleman from Buffalo
okay.
Bills.
Oh yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
The one who just got drafted last year. Last year.
So.
No, so shout out to I think it was the Tweed Heads and Coolangatta Golf Club. That's where it's at. They it was just before so it was bang there, airport, home.
Love it. I'm looking forward to the golf days.
Yes,
we're going to proper start locking in that because I've got so what we're the point where we're at now with the golf day is I've got all the players locked down, similar to last year where it is a soft yes. You know, all of them want to play grand final. This is the hard part about promoting the golf day that involves the players. But as you've seen last year, we've got the runs on the board. Stars do turn up. They just can't fully commit right now. But there are only 2 teams that can make the grand final, and I've got a roster of about 35
Well, we'll
players.
get all the Penrith boys in anyway. Well, we couldn't get
Nate's a
Penrith.
chance.
I mean,
Nate's a huge chance this year.
Get the dogs out there.
Because he had confirmed last year, but then I obviously made the grand final. So out of the players that played in the grand final last year, we lost Lindsay Smith and Nathan Cleary, and we lost Jerome Hughes and Cam Munster to the grand final. So big names, but we still had the star power of Kalen Ponga, Latrell Mitchell, Matty Burton won the day.
It was massive.
Heaps of OGs like Toddy Carney and Greg Bird, good friends of ours. So I've got a roster of about 35 to 40.
There's going to be, this one will be fucking way better.
Yeah.
A lot more sponsors and everything. Yep. A lot more players, availability. So if the Penrith boys will be out there, well, at least we get the dogs out there, like the Liam Martins and all that kind of stuff. I want to
I don't know
good
about
to see
Liam
him. I bet he's good at golf.
I think he's got a similar swing to you at the minute.
Well, he can sit in the car with me.
Because you know the reason I know this, right? So not only did I want to get the best players, as in star power for the NRL, but I also did my homework with players who actually play golf and who are good. So I've ruled out Isaiah Yeo, I've ruled out Liam Martin.
And they're not golfers?
So that's why Lindsay Smith jumped the pack last year, even though he wasn't a more established player. Lindsay hits a really good ball.
Okay.
So that was a big part of my selection. And no disrespect to some other players that played there, but there are also other players from other teams where it's like, do I go star power or do I try to put on the best sort of NRL golf player tournament I can?
I like that.
And that's what we went with last year.
And we can just invite people anyway. If they want to come, they come.
Yeah, a couple of boys might just come sit on the carts. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see as it plays out. Also, why the vibes are high and the energy is at an all-time high. I want to thank everyone who has been subscribing to the channel. We did this every week last year. I've purposely sort of just stopped a little bit and only did it every couple of months, but it's a huge part of what we do at the show, Mace. For people who subscribe, who follow us on Instagram, who follow us on TikTok. Lukey's been hammering the Facebook page recently.
Facebook, do we?
Yeah, you know what? It is. If you think, and I know the big fella sometimes gets in the comments, right? If you think
I don't check Facebook.
Don't check Facebook.
I don't know how to check Facebook.
Facebook is wild.
So Facebook is toxic.
Toxic.
Mate, like you get hammered. Because you know why? Do you know why Facebook compared to Instagram? And I've got my take on it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first, Lukey. Because you got proper OGs on Facebook.
Yeah, you got people
who
who
15-year
play.
trolls.
No, just older people. Older people who don't give a shit, who have no filter, who haven't transferred over to Instagram and TikTok because they're just that's for kids. Yeah, so you get older people who are proper set in their ways and hate change and hate referees and hate the game going soft and hate rest. But
what's the comment we love all the time when we see someone's like, fuck, hated Mace as a player, but fuck, I love him as a pundit. They've never invested in podcasters or anything. So you're the same guy.
I'm the same guy in 2005.
Yeah.
Get fucked you, all ears.
Yeah. So, mate,
don't check it. Actually do.
I do not. I don't think I've ever checked Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't have
40,
Facebook. I don't care for it.
40,000 on Facebook.
What?
Yeah.
Shit.
Mate, it pumps. More, like, I would probably argue TikTok, most views, most comments, then Facebook second, I reckon.
Wow. I didn't even know we had Facebook.
It sort of depends on the clip, which
content.
one goes viral where. But, like, we hit like 1 million views on the Spencer Leniu off the back fence tag.
On which one?
Right.
Facebook?
On
Instagram.
It sort of combines it on
both.
Meta. and then like 500K on TikTok from it.
So you can also subscribe on Apple and Spotify. It helps us. And the big thing that I've always said, Mason, this is we've all agreed upon this from day one, is it's not about who we're competing against. It's not about going against mainstream. It's not going against other podcasts. I love that we're leveling up every single week. Yeah. The growth, for me, we're competing against our numbers from yesterday. So here are some of the numbers. We have grown 3,500 subscribers on YouTube since I gave us the update after round one.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, that's a huge number, right? And then on Instagram, we're up 7.5, maybe nearly 8,000 on Instagram from round one of this year.
That's pretty good.
That's growth.
That's
mate.
massive.
Like, that's what we're looking for. And I know
7,000.
Some people view it, sort of view you as lemons when you talk yourself up like this. But
that's an average Roosters game. That's average crowd for the Roosters.
Maybe Roosters are Dolphins.
Roosters, Titans, Dolphins, Cowboys.
But yeah, I'm really proud of those numbers, mate, and that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to level up all the time. That's the name of the podcast, and a little tap on the back for all of us. Boys,
well done, boys. Especially you, especially Lukey Stowe. He knows fucking everything. We're big, even though when I was like, when we did Joey and myself on Saturday, we did that our first event up there for WW events. Joey was there, and they just yell out L1 from day one, L1 from day one. Raymond Terrace, when I'm up in fucking Raymond Terrace visiting Big Les, L1 from day one, come up, just shake hand, they just fuck off.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Awesome. Yeah,
it's awesome. Just mad love, respect, very respectful. I think they listen to how you approach people and everything like that. How you going, shake hand, and just dip.
Yeah.
It's good, but the love is everywhere.
Yes, have you noticed that? Have you noticed that since you mentioned it, that people were like, all right, they've watched the show and go, this is the way we approach mates.
Oh, hey, awesome. Willie, excuse me, love the show. Big supporter, shake your hand, and they just go.
Good eye contact?
Appreciate that. Yeah, pretty good, man.
I love
young kids, everything like all that. Fucking young kids.
It's not the blokes off Facebook.
I'm just like, how the fuck does I walked past a bunch of, I reckon they were 11, 12-year-old kids when I trained yesterday, E-Lab, and I walked down where I just got some meat for dinner and stuff like that. They were about 11 or 12. They're like, L1 from day. I'm like, what? This is TikTok shit, right?
Yeah.
Got to be TikTok. I'm like, there's no way that'd be support. They don't know me as a footy player. He's a podcaster. They say, hey, Big Willie, what's going on? Hey, kids, like 12, 13. I was just like, oh,
you know what
shit,
I love about that? And we get it all the time too in the comments because obviously I got to put the comments into the show. Like we said that about a year ago. We hardly ever say that anymore. It's only just when someone says it in a comment section, right?
L1.
Yeah, L1.
Oh,
like we very rarely say it in the episode, but it's definitely stuck.
Because I'm a man of the people.
That's what they're called, the L1s.
Yeah, L1s.
But I'm a man of the people, you know what I mean? I'm always out, you know what I mean? Even the Gold Coast, the Star and everyone, L1, you know what I mean? Just awesome. Out of nowhere, I'll be walking through the cast. I think I got lost going up to my room, and everyone was loaded full of piss and I didn't have a drink, right? Yeah.
Trying to get out of bar atrium.
I couldn't get out. I didn't know where the room was, like from the casino, and I did circles. I was like, "Fucking get me out of here!" Because they were ready to roll. There's a crew, and I knew them as well. I was like, "No, not tonight, boys.
Yeah.
Family's here."
You could have got me a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. No. Only one a year now. Till London.
And this is great representation of it again before we move off. This one comes from Ray Leofel. Loving the work, boys. Only just discovered this channel a couple of weeks ago and love the unbiased takes in regards to Origin. Keep it up, boys. Up the wires.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you for everyone who has subscribed. But if you haven't, go ahead and give that button a like, hit that subscribe button as well.
Yep.
And we will use a comment from the YouTube section to I guess put a bit of a bow on Origin 1. And I even went back and watched the first half because I just wanted to get a bit of a read, and I've got a few dot points here off the back of it. And this is a good comment from James, who's a Victorian. As a Victorian who can sit back and just enjoy State of Origin with an unbiased view, it seems like New South Wales will have a long reign in Australia State of Origin. I sat around with a mate and basically put together a New South Wales B team consisting of players that didn't get picked, and I think it would push the current Queensland team. What are your thoughts? So I'll just kick off with this, mate. So I actually rewatched the first half.
Yeah.
I don't think Harry will ever play that bad again in his life, not only just Origin club level at all. Like, Harry had a really poor start to the game and a really poor 25 minutes. DCE and Munster's first half was better than I first thought watching it, in the sense where I think I went in with a preconceived idea of the pressure that DCE was on about even being selected, that I felt like I needed him to have a 10 out of 10 to keep his spot, and that's what we talked about straight after the game. He was okay to begin with. He was like, the right edge was actually having more joy than the left edge. Down Latrell's edge, Robert Toya had a nice little tip on. He probably could have had another little tip on. And Ches was actually taken on the line more than I thought originally because I was calling the game.
Yes.
Sometimes
that sort of thing. When I saw that, he had a lot of opportunities, and they just didn't get the field position
pass.
to do it.
The final pass, field position.
All the field position because of these little ticky-tack penalties that helped New South Wales get out.
Yep.
They just built pressure, and they couldn't get out of their own yard. Like it was, and that just burns the petrol.
And they got 2 opportunities, right? And not to just, and in order to for me to sort of be critical or be sympathetic towards DCE. I'm not trying to be overly critical on Harry, but there was an opportunity when we went down there. DCE's at part for this. He gets caught on the 4th tackle. So he's the one playing the ball. So that's his fault, right?
Yeah.
He's got to have better game management. Instead of Harry going to Munster, when there would have been a clear kicking plan
to go that way,
to go to Xavier Coates.
Yeah. Coates was on the right, wasn't he?
Coates was on the right, but so the plan would have been to go to Coates and Toto, right?
Yep.
But once DCE gets tackled, Harry has to go to Cam and they have to kick to the other side. Like, remove yourself from the kicking plan because Daly's got tackled. So almost all of them are at fault except for maybe Money, who I don't know what the communication was like. Maybe Money's got to be more aggressive, but Harry goes to the short side, kicks to Xavier Coates, 7 tackle set, and then there was another opportunity where they were down there and they're on the right edge. And they were sort of attacking, and Harry goes from dummy half a couple of times or goes down the short side where it's like there had to have been shape on the open for sure. So
there's some decisions from
Harry will never play that bad again. And then I believe the reason we were all sort of, complimentary towards Dearden is because Dearden come on for Harry. And he actually straightened everything up through the middle for Harry. And then when Harry come back on for his second stint, they actually looked more dangerous together as a foursome.
Yes.
So that was my...
Even with Harry Grant, I just say that was a terrible kick, right? But the idea was right.
Correct.
The execution, if he puts it 5 metres up more, gives Coates some time, it would have landed on.
For sure.
And like that's the pressure of Origin.
Yeah.
You know, all these little things where like, I get it, that was the right idea. Blame the balls, Harry. Always the balls. That's the one where Joey heard it pop.
I think I was watching a clip and you were going, I know the or something about I know the balls or something, and I was like, that's a good clip. That should have been your caption, like something around the balls. I thought that was funny. And again, right, and this is the big thing, and I agree with James in this, is that the refereeing, in my opinion, it was favourable towards New South Wales watching it back again. Actually, like some of the stuff that normally gets let go on Origin just didn't early on, which accumulated to possession for New South Wales and pressure. Queensland can't afford that. They have to have a 50-50 game at best to even be in it, and that's what sort of James is saying. Whereas I think New South Wales can. I think they're so much better where they can even have a few bad calls or a 40-60 split, and they've got enough talent on the field to account for a poor start, poor refereeing decisions, and fight their way back. I just don't think Queensland, the way they are constructed, whoever they bring in, and DCE might not be a part of game 2, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, I thought Harry more so than DCE's been criticised, and even Money with his missed tackling at the back end of the game was probably more of a factor than the other two.
And you got to credit New South Wales defence.
100%.
New South Wales defence were at a different level. They put so much pressure on Harry to play early. They put pressure on DCE to play early, Munster to play. Everyone was playing early, and they just shut everyone down. They're a big, mobile, aggressive pack. And they've got guys like Crichton and Martin on the edges that are they're fucking quick. They are very quick. They're as quick as Munster in that over 10 metres. So that's where they put that inside pressure on. And even our middles like Payne Haas and Mitch Barnett and Robson, their movements, mate, they're so good. And Yowie, mate, it's hard to look at Queensland and go, what are you supposed to do?
They've got to find a way.
They've got to find a way because New South Wales is going to double down on this and fucking push through. Everyone wants a decider when you're not playing, right? I want to see a decide, but then I want to see a sweep. And I want to see us put our foot on the throat like they did to us a lot of times, right? And that's why we can't take it easy with Queensland, because understand, it was 14-6 at 25 minutes to go. Fuck. if they had scored then, Suncorp, another leg, the whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't get over the line.
Yeah.
But those three players, if they play their best, they're some of the best players in the world. And I don't think Harry's ever going to play another bad game.
We'll see. So here's my sort of final point with the spine. When we go through like the position groups, right? So just say if we go the spine as 7, 6, and 9, and then leave the 13. Even though it's a huge part of the spine now, I think that's the only position group that matches New South Wales in terms of talent, production, whatever it's been, and even runs on the board. At origin level, you'd probably favour Queensland.
Yeah, I said that before.
But across, that's what we talked about, right? So I find it crazy that they're considering the change chairs because of that reason.
Yeah.
When you look at all the other position groups, outside backs, 2, 3, 4, 5, huge tick to New South Wales. In my opinion, the forward pack, Payne, Haas, Barnett, back rowers, and Yowie, huge tick again. Not huge tick, just a tick. Just better.
Yeah.
Just better.
They
But
just need to fuck around with the forward pack.
Yeah,
Queensland.
and then the bench, that's where it's a huge tick. I think the advantage for New South Wales was a huge tick on the bench. So,
Massive.
Just considering all of that, I thought it was, I find it strange if they're going to be able to keep themselves in the game with Tom Dearden and Cam Munster's kicking game. I think
I
it
look
might
at
be
DC.
problematic.
That changed my mind as soon as I saw DC play on the weekend.
Yeah.
And his kicking game just got him out.
Masterclass.
Masterclass. I'm just like, wow, okay, this is what he didn't get a chance to do in the Origin because of pressure, all that kind of stuff, different field position. He just didn't get a chance to really do anything.
Yeah. We also talked about a couple of like what changes can they make, and these players aren't available. But I was looking at like who is there in Queensland, and I've got the 2 Toms, and they're not going to play this year.
Yeah.
But they're missing aggression, they're missing some dog in them in the forward pack, and they're missing some versatility coming off the bench. Tom Flegler and Tom Gilbert. Those are two big bodies and aggressive players that I think. Tino could help out Tino, Paddy up front, Ruben Cotter. And I know like there are probably players from New South Wales that we're missing that are missing every series, but these 2 guys, the disappointing part, and it's more disappointing with Flegler. Flegler's in his prime.
I know. I felt for him when we had an opportunity to talk to him up at Magic Round. He's just, I want to see him get back.
Yeah,
those eyes are fucking mental.
Yeah,
when I was looking at him, he's like,
what about the little twitching that
he just wanted to fucking
talking about
knock someone out.
Just talking about like being off the back fence and playing footy again. You can just tell.
It,
so look, it's not a fix for this year's series, but when I was thinking about players that weren't a part of the series, those 2 guys really stood out for me.
Thoughts on Billy on the footy show explaining the reason why they didn't kick it to Spencer?
Missed it.
You missed it.
Saw that.
Should we watch
Talking
the clip?
about stripping. If you want to watch the clip,
Watch
I
it.
can
I
just
saw
explain
it.
it basically.
I saw it, and he's like, because Val is a left
Val's
side,
taking the
left.
kick-off.
Val's a so they had to go right because Val goes back to the left.
But they kicked left previous to that.
Yeah, I know. So it's just.
Yeah, there you go. You've just answered.
You
That's
just
what I
answered
thought.
it.
Watch the clip.
You just answered it. You just go, well, you've already kicked left.
Yeah.
Then you kick right, so Val has to go. Come on, man. Come on, Bill.
Hey, but guess what?
Come on, Bill.
Every podcast, radio, TV has been talking about the kickoff. Spencer's getting the kickoff in game 2.
Spencer's getting everything.
Do you reckon he starts and gets the first carry if they get the kick, or just when he comes?
They'll let him. They'll let that. Did you see that man on the sidelines when he wasn't even on? I love that human. He's a special unit. At Suncorp, just fucking going, get lost, running up and down, just Yahoo, and I'm just like, wow, just a swag on that kid, man. Just like, fuck it. It probably would have been like, what, 12-6, pretty even game while he was doing that, just doing his little warm-up. Or 0-0. Who knows?
Have you seen the H-Hod's voiceover that I reposted? It's the Samoan boys from up in Queensland, and they do voiceovers.
I did. I've seen it.
Fuck, it's so fun. It's Pussycat Garfield or something.
Yeah.
Mate, those guys do it all the time.
God, there's some funny bastards.
They do it over regular clips, not just sports clips, but they did one on Gus and and they did one for Spencer.
Yeah,
Fuck, it
I
was
saw
so
the
funny.
Gus. The Gus one was hilarious.
All right.
when he's doing the pre-game, isn't it?
Hip, hip. All right. You were there.
I was there. You see my head going because it was Kylie and Luke Louie, and then they went around. I was just sitting there. Oh,
Did you see it, Lukey?
Speaking to someone.
Send it to me after.
Yeah,
I'll
it's pretty
send it to
good.
you
It's pretty
after.
funny.
So, game 1 is done and dusted, Mace.
Yep.
Game 2 is in Perth in a couple of weeks. And I have gone and selected my way too early Ashes Australian team. By the way, we will be taking a tour over there as well. Yeah. Ashes RL, can't wait for that at the end of the season. So based off game 1 only, and I haven't considered past accomplishments and representing the jersey. And I've got a couple of players where I've got an S next to them, Mason. You can see in my team. So the S represents Samoa with a question mark because there are rumours that these 3 players could play for Samoa in the Pacific Championships at the end of the year, but they haven't done it recently. So I didn't consider Stephen Crichton, Brian Toto, Jerome Luai, who didn't play Origin, Jeremiah Nanai, who was excellent. The last representative team they played for Nationals was for Samoa, so not considered. All right?
Okay, I've got a question for you before we even start. So Tino and Payne Haas and Hammer you got in here. Sorry to give it away. But just say they want to play in the Ashes tour this year. They go, okay, I want to play. Can they change and play in the World Cup for Samoa next year?
Jerome Luai, Stephen Crichton and Brian Toto can play for the Ashes this year if they choose. Yeah. That's the weird thing about this rule.
Yes, that's what I'm spun out. But they can go, okay, we'll play in the I want to go on the Lions tour. Yep. Right? And I want to play for Samoa next year. That's how you 100%. Can do it. Or I want to play in the Pac Championships this year and not travel.
That's a factor for sure. Yeah, so the rules are they're so lenient towards Samoa,
for the Tier 2 nations. They're so lenient, aren't they?
Even PNG with Xavier Coates, who I've got in my team there. So there's another player that's been revealed nice and early. So let's go through the teams and then we'll discuss them at the end. All right, number 1, Dylan Edwards, no-brainer. Big tick over Kalen. And Kalen could be representing New Zealand too by the end of the year. So the wingers, because I didn't consider Brian Toto, I have gone Zach Lomax and Xavier Coates.
Yeah, easy.
And if you have any...
I like that. They're the 2 best wingers in the world at the moment.
Okay. Centers Latrell Mitchell and currently... And I've got an asterisk next to players where I think they can be pushed out of the position depending on how you feel about a player. Hamaso Tabuai-Fido didn't have the greatest Origin.
I need the Hammer from fucking last 3 years, not this Hammer.
Hammer last year in the Pac Champs was really good.
Yeah, it was a gun. So I think that's still in him. He just needs to just get it out somehow.
He needs a big game too.
Yeah, he does.
Needs a big game too. My number 6, Cameron Munster.
Nah, what about the Momax combination? Lomax and Moses. I need that. Cleary and Moses.
Did they do enough?
Our boy Money might be under the pump. He might be off. He could be the 14. Imagine him coming on at 9, speeding the ruck up.
He could easily play 14.
He could easily be the best 14. But that's what I'm saying. That 6 jersey now, it's up for grabs. Luai had it. Dearden had it last year.
No, Luai's never.
Luai. Just say for New South Wales. For New South Wales, right? So Moses has been in and out, and same as Cleary. Cleary's a 7, but Moses and Cleary will have something to say. Well, definitely Moses at the end of the year.
Well, Moses and Cleary won game 1. Munster and Cleary won the World Cup 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the argument about where we see now Moses has sort of won the battle with Jerome for Origin. Can he win the battle for Australia?
How interesting is this going to be, but at the end of the day, right? At the end of this year, well, Cam Munster, he wants to get that 6 back, and Moses is Moses, right? I think he's fucking playing his best football ever. Cleary is bang, he's there. They're going to make a decision on that. Because I don't think Moses can play off the bench at all.
No,
he either starts at 6 or he is not in the team. He's just in the squad.
25.
Where I know Money can play off the bench with one of the best. He could be one of the best 14.
You know what? That could go against him at the end of the year, especially if Moses has a really good campaign. Money is definitely versatile enough to play 14 because he can play centre, fullback,
everywhere,
5'8",
lock.
That could go against him for the Australian team starting jersey.
I think if everyone's available, I think Munster's 14.
Ooh, okay. Nathan Cleary,
Munster,
7.
prove me wrong. You're a gun anyway.
Just to quickly on your point of the loyalty of their halves, if Mal gets the Perth Bears gig, then there's likely going to be a new coach as well.
Oh yeah,
could be Freddie. He's working with the NRL. I reckon Freddie will be.
I reckon Freddie would be good.
Rumours already.
I reckon Freddie would be good if
I think he'd be a great Aussie coach.
Yeah. It's a different pressure cooker being the New South Wales coach as compared to the...
Freddie can be Freddie's a good coach for these little stints, right? Yeah. He can get them up. Everyone loves Freddie, it's just... I think he's a perfect fit.
Yeah, the stress of Origin didn't quite, but he did throw a few curly selections in there, like they were a little bit random.
Yeah, but you only got 3 weeks over here.
Yeah. Surely you can't do that.
You can't fuck with the Aussie team that much, Freddie. Right, but World Cup goes for 6.
Okay.
Yeah, right. About 6 weeks is a World Cup tour. That'd be the whole thing. Yeah, 4 weeks of just normal, and then 2 weeks of the finals, or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, maybe 3 weeks of camp.
You can throw a couple of curveballs in there, easy.
Yeah, he does.
I'd expect that from you, Freddie.
Nathan's a lock for us both, right?
Man,
7. So Payne Haas.
Yes.
Now there are. It is believed that both him and Tino are going to play for Samoa at the end of the year. That is the rumours. It has not been confirmed. Even Payne said he wants to get through the series. But currently, right now, he's the best front rower in the competition and got the player of the match.
Okay.
So Payne is in my front row. Harry Grant, asterisks. Harry Grant needs to back up and have a big game too because he was poor in game 1.
Man of the match.
Reece Robson was really good.
Yeah.
Reece Robson was really good. So
doesn't overplay his hand.
Yeah.
Robson just runs when the markers are down, early ball to Payne Haas. When you got a forward pack like that, you don't have to overplay your hand.
Have you seen the stat with Harry starting for Queensland? So
Yeah.
they did this on Fox. Braith put this up on Fox on 360 straight after the game. He was won 6 from 8 off the bench. He's 0 from 4 starting at Origin.
Right.
Yeah. It's not a great start for him, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's terrible.
Yeah. But it just shows, and this has been my concern now with Harry at club level for a while. Again, it's a bit of a bashing session on Harry.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I love him as a person.
He's the best 9 in the world,
Best
easily.
9.
He's just like, he's not playing his best footy.
You just need to
That's what
rectify.
happens.
He just needs to rectify the record, and I think it's probably not going to look that great for the rest of the series because I have New South Wales winning the series. So, Paddy Carrigan, when we were talking about Tino needing some help up front, a lot of people were blowing up that we were not giving Paddy enough credit. My thing with Paddy is he's the same as Isaiah Yeo. I expect big numbers and him through the middle, and they don't probably get the compliments and respect they deserve because you just expect those numbers through the middle. But I'm talking more. We were talking more about presence. Like Tino has a presence about him.
Yeah.
But Paddy was excellent. I thought Paddy was still good through the middle for them. So. Mitch Barnett, a shout for a starter between you.
Yeah,
you there.
Mitch Barnett would be around, and same as the other big boy. I would start Tino because I just think him and Payne Haas are the 2 best props. Carrigan could easily come off the bench and be like, because he can play back row, he can play anywhere in the forwards.
Yep.
Right, and I think he'd be your best guy there.
It could easily see that.
Yeah.
Could easily see that, but I just imagine if you swap, you get Payne for the first 30 minutes and then you bring Tino on.
That's probably the. Sometimes with Tino, when you're built like that and you play like that, you come off the bench and make a massive impact.
For sure.
It doesn't matter.
Yep. So Liam Martin, Angus Crichton, tick.
Yep.
Nice and easy, even though Jeremiah was awesome. Jeremiah also played for Samoa recently, so that's why I didn't consider him. Isaiah Yeo, skipper and lock for me.
Yep.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, easy.
Okay. Tom Dearden is my player on the bench because I feel the same with you about Mitch. If Mitch isn't my starting 6, I don't want him on the bench.
No.
But I could see where if you start Mitch at 6, then Cam Munster goes to the 14 over Tommy.
Yep. Other than that, Tom Dearden's the best 14.
All right, the last 3, Mitchy Barnett, I think he is a lock pending injury. Let's touch wood and hope Mitchy is okay from them. Didn't look great.
Say medial? Was it a medial?
Webby wouldn't confirm. He has to have a look and scans, which he's would have done last night or maybe this morning. Maybe Lukey can find some updates. But Mitch Barnett, Tino Fasul Malawi, and Hudson Young.
Yeah, Hudson Young just forces his way in there.
Yeah. Canberra form.
And as I said, he reminds me of a Chalky Watmow. Just fucking Chalky was around he was in our era and he just forced his way into the team. About 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9. He just started just killing it for Manly, coincided with those guys winning. And he was one of the best back rows in the game for at least 4 or 5 years.
I love that comp, and you know why? And they're reluctant to move in. People
bricks.
forget that once Beaver left, Chalky was a gun edge player.
Best.
And then because he was such a worker, and Hudson Young has got this in him. You can see Hudson Young finishing his career in the middle too.
Yeah.
And playing that lock sort of.
Because he was always attacking on the edge, Chalky, but he'd defend in the middle.
Yeah.
because of the numbers things. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
he wasn't good at that. He was
then
just good
flip
at
with
working.
Beaver.
He
Flip
was
with
good at
Beaver.
working his
Yeah.
ass off and just tackling everything. You couldn't structure him in defence because he would find himself at the other side of the fucking post. Where if you're a left full, right full, you need to hold those posts. You know that better than anyone. Where he was just like, just get in the middle and then attack wherever you want.
Yeah.
He was just a proper footy player.
All right. You like that team?
I love it.
Let us know.
I love it,
us
but
know
yeah, I
if
just
there are any
want
changes.
to know what these brothers are doing at the end of the year.
Yep.
Big signs if they're not available for this Ashes tour. Tino and Payne Haas especially, like just like that's all signs I'm not playing and we're going. To
Oh,
start
for
more
sure.
next year.
Yeah, it's clear that they're preparing for the World Cup this year by playing the pack.
And then who do you fucking put in there in front of those for those two? The massive holes.
Ruben Cotter comes in.
Cotter,
the team.
yeah, Ruben Cotter and Huddy Young are on
Considered for 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, it's a big hole to fill. Pommies would be looking at that going,
Because if you look at the New South Wales bench,
We get these lines.
you don't have Spencer as well because Spencer's Samoa as well.
and
So
we haven't lost this tour in 50 years or something like that.
there you go.
I'm not sure. When's the last time we lost an Ashes tour?
Jeez, I think
I'm
it was
gonna go
the
back to the
70s. I
70s.
think it was the 70s when we looked it up last time.
Because I remember we were under the pump.
You know for sure
I
because you
fucking
wouldn't-
know we were the last ones to win it, but we were under the pump
Yeah.
because they're like, no one's lost this for like a ridiculous amount of years. So the pressure with this jersey and the Lions, you don't want to be that first team to lose it. That's fucking...
Mace, because
hold
you're an
that.
OG, you know what the last time the OGs have lost it, which brings us
I think
to
it's in the 70s, yeah, sorry.
Our OG Bull of the week. So your Red Bull OG,
Yeah.
you want to crack that can too? I'll crack that can.
Yeah, man. Yeah. God, Red Bull. My one is, I'm putting all these factors in, right?
Yep.
Plays 80 minutes.
Yep.
Origin on the Wednesday. Numbers aren't ridiculous. You know all the stuff off the ball that he does.
Stop. Before we get to that, this one comes from Giant Tortoise. Death, taxes, and the triple OG. Not even looking at the stats when picking the OG Bull of the week. I don't even care.
Don't give a fuck.
I love it.
So Liam Martin, right? What he did on Wednesday, stats aren't off its head. Like he's not putting Payne Haas numbers up, but those kick chases, what he does, to keep pressure, getting the ball, just settling those, hitting those lines, and just placing it on that numbers line so they can have a long shot. Non-stop for 80 minutes. First one down on a kick chase.
the best.
Umbrella defense on Ponga. Umbrella defense on Coates. Anywhere, whatever. Pushing through the middle, doing everything. Then having a rest for what? Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
Sunday, just feeling a little bit better, right? And we'll go through what the recovery was for most of these other players. Then having a Parramatta team turn up like it was a fucking grand final.
That was a
And
semi-final.
that was a high-level game. Parramatta were up for it. Going to give kudos to Parramatta and Jason Rolls out there for the first time. You're doing it. You're doing some good shit. You're actually doing you're ripping in, and it's something that you could be proud of, Rollsy, what you're putting out there.
Well said.
And then you're getting out there and you put in that same effort. Those blokes' asses were hanging out. Shout out to Isaiah Yo, Dylan Edwards, and Cleary as well. But Liam Martin
Brian Toto?
still, and Brian Toto as well, but he's on the wing. Come on, man. So he
Love
still
you,
ranked
Victor.
still ranked 230 of the best. He's a fucking animal. But Liam Martin, bang, straight down there on the kick chases. Like Zach Lomax, he's a massive handful. The other wingers, it was just
It was a great contest.
It was a great contest, but he was there for 80 minutes. I'm like, dude, give those guys about 3 or 4 days off. They deserve it. So my OG Bull of the week, Liam Martin.
You know what I love the most about this OG Bull? You always try to pick the best game and a game that involved a proper back and forth. And even though these two teams were 17th and 15th, that game wasn't reflected by their position on the ladder.
Nope.
They went at it. And they're two teams that'll be disappointed where they are on the ladder, but they're better than that. And there are so many different circumstances for both teams that reflect that.
Penrith are 3 points off the 8.
It's a testament to the ladder.
Testament to the competition.
The Dragons are in 8th, and who's looking at the Dragons like they're a threat, respectfully?
Oof, little drive by.
Hey, little drive-by, hey?
Chill out.
Love you, Gutho.
We love you, Gutho. Just because Gutho's gone to the Dragons.
Fucking stabbing
You've turned on
Gutho
your
in the
man
back.
Gutho. You've turned on the king, have you?
14 points.
Have you turned on the king?
I've turned on the king. I've uncrowned the king.
Oh, King Tracker.
Respectfully. I love when he puts on the back. Respectfully.
Yeah, respectfully.
Of course.
Yeah, you get away with it if you
Sans
chuck it.
respect.
Sans respect. But yeah, really good performance from everyone.
And
everyone at Origin.
everybody who backed up. But those Penrith players, they're like, they could go, maybe we've won 4 in a row, been in 5 grand finals. Fuck, like Parra's here to play, maybe fucking just whatever.
Well, Parra
because they were up, they were just as desperate, and they still managed to pull that out. I was just like, wow. And some of those efforts from Liam Martin, man. Even Yoey's just how fit is Yoey? Don't even look tired. He's got Cameron Smith vibes. When Cameron Smith was fucking like 78th minute, we're at the scrum and we're blowing big time. Cam Smith's like, who's my front rows?
Yeah.
Cares, like just stoic as hell. Like, and that would play on people's heads. Yoey's like that.
Hey, I'm glad you brought this up because I've seen a clip throughout the week. You did your clip with No Limit, and Lukey they did an interview with Gavin Badger. And I love the badge too, by the way. One of the true characters of the game. Love your badge. But he brought up exactly what I've been saying for years. Remember how I always told you the importance of a captain and the psyche that it has for referees?
The mannerisms that you communicate.
The mannerisms and the way you carry yourself. That's what Isaiah Yeo is for Penrith Panthers. That's why they get more favourable calls. And I'm telling you right now, mates, that's why he is captain over Nathan on field. Because Nathan can get a bit flustered. He's got so much to think about. Isaiah Yeo's, his temperament is great, so he goes and has a proper conversation with him. And Badge talked about how good it was dealing with Cam Smith.
Yeah.
He for sure got favourable calls because, one, he was smart about the way he went about it, but also he always come in and he understood the game and had good IQ.
And you know how when you get proper fatigue, you are not thinking clear.
No.
You're like, fuck this, fuck that. Like you you can't get told what to do. Some players like, hey, push it, fuck you. You're going at, then you got to be captain and something could be going against you. You got to go with the fucking, you got to lower it down a little bit. He was the king of that, and so was Yoey.
Yeah.
And this is a very special technique that they have. It's fucking hard to do.
To throw my own team under the bus. Look at the difference. Like the way that Moses and even last year, Gutho.
I said this about Gutho and Mitchie, and Gutho even messaged me. Remember last year, the DM? So I'll tell you about that. So did I ever say this? So
I don't think you said it on mic.
I don't think I've ever said it on mic, but it's okay. We can leave it in there. Yeah. So we put up a clip about Mitch and Gutho. They get they come in there screaming at the referees all the time, and it's because they're having a bad run with Peter Goff. Peter Goff is the opposite of what Badger's talking about with Cam Smith and Badger. You can tell he hates Gutho, right? The Goff hates him because Gutho comes in screaming. He sometimes calls him a shit C and all this sort of, like you can hear it. Like
I know,
he goes, that's wrong. And then there was a time when they were walking off the field and he goes, you cost us the game or something like that, right? So, and I've always said this.
These guys are humans.
You think it's a factor, and look, it's not going to fully determine the games. But I've said this about captaincies before, where I think some players go in, they're not captain material for on-field stuff, and I think it's even more important now with the captain's challenge. Like I was talking about it during the time that I played. We didn't even have the captain's challenge, so to be able to, like Yoey and Cam Smith would have been the Mickey at getting captain challenges too. By the way, to take emotion out of it. Take fatigue out of it, show the referees respect, and get the 50-50 calls.
And timing as well, the timing of going up to the ref, right? It's not like after your penalty, you got to think of it. It's very methodical how they do it. Credit to Yoey anyway.
Yeah, it's basically the textbook.
You just don't come, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that clip from Badgers, the textbook on how to talk to refs.
100%. Like every captain should be watching it. Every coach should be sitting down with their captains. I know there are a lot of coaches that bring referees in. For example,
they all do. Yeah, they all do.
Cherry Evans.
That picture of Ashley Klein and Ches before.
That's the best.
Mate, apparently the referees come in like once a fortnight for them.
Well, they do. Most clubs do that.
They should be doing that. Every club should be doing that.
Yeah, I think they are.
Unless it's the Dragons and Peter Goff.
Goffy won't go.
Goffy refuses to do.
No, he sends Badge.
He sends Badge. Paparazzi around. Get the captain.
Badge goes for him.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's the perfect comp for the way I view Yoey, and that's why I've always respected him as a player, skipper, and the championship run he's been on. All right, let's go from the OGs to the young bucks. Now, Sticky's going to be furious at me here, right?
Expect a message
because he likes to keep the younger players level-headed,
humbled,
and humbled. Yeah. And he's brought it up. He's brought this up before. It's not necessarily as much about the media and people complimenting them. It's how they handle it and how younger players handle it. So I fully appreciate and understand where Ricky's coming from with this. But I reckon Owen Paddy is a future star.
Yeah.
I just
Good
love
shout, good
everything.
shout.
I love everything about him. I love the way he looks. I love his style. I love his speed. He's even got a little bit of Harry Grant's, how do I explain it? Movements.
Yep.
The way he gets out and engages markers, and that's a high praise, right? Like I know we've been critical.
Danny Vidiris in him.
A little bit of Bedsy. He's got, and this is where I'm going to get carried away. I reckon he's got the best kicking game from a 9 I've seen in a long time. And I'm not just saying this because we only seen it on the weekend. Well, for those who haven't seen a whole heap of Owen Paddy, he's had limited opportunities this year. And leading in, after watching him in the trials this year, I went back and watched some of his New South Wales Cup stuff. He's got this in the bag. Yeah. He does this on the regular. He even caught Teddy slipping because he's only played limited games. He's not on the scouting report. He's not in the review. No. Because Tom Starling's been playing so well. So he gets out on the right edge, kicks in and puts in a nice little 40-20.
But understand how hard it is, the right foot to kick that way.
Yeah.
And 1-2 bounces.
Beautiful.
Straight. And catching Teddy slipping. And I'm not sure who the left winger was supposed to be.
Left winger would have been Toops,
Was
OG.
it Toop? Yeah, Toops was...
But guess what? Those two OGs, they never make that mistake.
Never.
Because he's not on the tip sheet. He's not yet.
Best kick I've seen.
And
for
I'm
a while.
sorry to stick you again, but he is going to be on the tip sheet moving forward because he's got it in his game. He is a highly skilled 9. He's one of the best skilled 9s I've seen since Harry coming out. And
he's a Queenslander.
Is he?
Is he a Queenslander?
Yeah. Guess who needs a hooker?
Oh, Farry already.
Settle down. Not going that far.
North Queensland, I'm talking about.
I thought you were removing Harry.
Harry straight out from Origin, mate.
Whoa.
Nah.
I like that take.
Yeah.
Sticky's
what's going to happen?
Sticky's going to be more
because
you than
you got Brayley next year. Starling's proved himself like he wants that starting spot. Owen Paddy, he's like, hey, I'm coming. What about me?
They just re-up Starling.
I don't want to be a fucking third string.
No, mate. And honestly, this is the hard love and credit to Sticky. If he's able to manage this young player and all the praise he's going to get, and the way he manages it is Tom Starling goes straight back in next week and he goes back to his 15 minutes. But I don't know, man. And I'm sure Sticky sees it. And there's pros and cons to not rushing young players and not letting it get to their head. And it's clearly worked for Xavier Savage. It's clearly worked for Hudson Young, Corey Horsburgh, and all these players that have had the tough love. But Owen Paddy could be the difference between you being for me and probably you, Mace. Like, this competition is wide open, and if a young star like him can emerge, and then you have a guy like Starling off the bench who's always done a job off the bench, that could be the difference.
Yes,
mate.
Well, I'm just not sure where that Brayley.
The Brayley signing is so confusing.
Yeah.
It's so confusing, and Jaden Brayley was been a good player for a long time. Jaden Brayley, it's even confusing for Brayley. Like, he leaves a situation where he's beaten out by Phoenix Crossland to go to an opportunity where I think Owen Paddy will beat out not only him, but him and Starling.
You'd be thinking, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You're thinking of other clubs who need a second string 9, right? He could be third.
Does he even consider like a positional change? Is Ricky looking at that to replace Jamal Fogarty?
Because he's a bigger sort of 9. He could probably play 13.
13.
Off the bench, he can play 9, 13.
Back up 7, 6.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. And the last little bit, and this is where like when I look at a player, I go, all right, sweet. You can see some things that they do. 40-20, nice. A try assist for Joseph Tarpany, beautiful. Like, you hit the lead with that try. That's a huge moment. I love the way he's just scheming and looking. But you know why? One of the things that I pay most attention to for guys that handle the ball, playmakers, spine, it's the fashion in which people support and run off him.
They know.
The way that Mariota, the way that Joseph Tarpany, he's come along. The way that Horsburgh hit or run off Owen Paddy compared to, respectfully, at this point of his career, Danny Levi, who started, and even Tom Starling at this point of his career, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
I noticed it straight away.
He's genuine 9.
I noticed it with back rowers more, but I noticed it's really stood out for me in this game, the way that Mariota and all those players that I mentioned were just attacking the line because they have belief in that he's not going to put him in a worse position.
Yep.
So that's a credit to Owen so early
How
in
old
his...
is he, Owen Paddy?
Paddy is 21.
21.
22nd of Jan 2004.
He got New South Wales Cup Player of the Year last year as well.
Been slept on, hasn't he?
Mate, Ricky's doing a great
And he's
job.
a Canberra
Ricky's
junior?
rookies. No.
No, they've flicked going from
If
somewhere
he's a
else.
Queenslander. Man, their recruitment. So identifying Owen Paddy, Ethan Sanders look good.
St Brendan's College in Yeppoon, he went.
Oh, that's
Rocky
Harry's
boy.
town.
Yeah.
Rocky boy.
Yeah, he's from
Oh,
Yeppoon.
yeah, he's trained with Harry.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, that's right. So I seen, where was Harry on? Was Harry on 9 or Fox? Or maybe somewhere speaking about it
Well, he has
recently?
same mannerisms, isn't it, on the field?
Mate, he's a Harry. He is a Harry clone. He's a Harry with a kicking game.
Yeah. Harry can kick. Oh, yeah. Just that one. We'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Harry's a
That's
solid.
right. Remember all the Vegas when they were talking about when he debuted in Vegas? That's
Yeah.
all the family and stuff.
Potentially,
He had
yeah.
that. His old man was a character. Is that? Or am
Oh,
I
yeah.
just remembering that?
Probably Yeppoon. Yeah, that's the way they breed
Good
him.
part
up
of the
there.
world, Yeppoon.
Big
Shout out.
Rocky boy.
Yeah, so shout out to the young buck and sorry Stick for pumping his tires up because I know you hate that stuff.
Be pumping the price up too.
And you know what? You know why I love him?
Be pumping his price up
Yeah.
because he's a genuine starter in this game.
100% he is.
He's just waiting. So
But like-
North Queensland could be a good shout. Cowboys, get on the phone.
100% he would have
Love
gone
you,
Cowboys fan. You're from Yeppoon.
Yes.
He's the type of guy that I would Tyson gamble on to
Yeah.
get and play early, get him early, send him big money because
Yeah.
he's got all the traits of he's got, you know what? He's got that mongrel in him, boys. He's got that mongrel in him, just like Mongrel Boots, Aussie born and bred too, just like up in Yeppoon. That's Mongrel Boots, and no matter if it's work or play, Mongrel has a boot for you, and they're designed to be comfy as. Remember, Mongrel boots are engineered with advanced technology, built tough, including features like scuff cap protection, a tough-sided sole for enhanced ability, roller sole technology, increasing comfort and safety, and the air zone comfort system to reduce fatigue, ensuring maximum comfort. Speaking of fatigue, he doesn't get tired as well. He can go 80 minutes, Owen Paddy. So head to mongrelboots.com.au to find your favourite boot and local retailer. Mace, by the way, we had a question a couple of weeks ago. Can you get them in New Zealand? Yes, you can. That is
Yes.
confirmed. They are not in New Zealand. They don't have a factory in New
Yeah, I'm
Zealand,
sure they can send it. It's
but they can
2025.
send them over.
I do need a pair because I was up at Les's joint. He's got 32 acres.
Oh, your pairs arrived, but you just never. Yeah.
Oh,
Did you
shit.
Not
Nah,
get
he
them
didn't
to
send
you?
them.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah, I need a
organise
pair,
it.
man. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So he
32 acres. I was rolling around in Air Force Ones,
Yeah.
and it was pissing down rain.
you need to get you some
filthy.
mongrels. Get you some
Yeah, man.
mongrels. Yeah.
Because Les stole my other ones.
Well, you got a pair.
Yeah, but he got
There's a
the
pair
other
of
ones
yours
that
in North Sydney.
Yeah, the first ones that I got, he's like, "Oh, what are these?" And I've got, blah blah blah. And he's on his farm and everything. I was like, "Oh, all right, dumb.
All right.
Have them."
Let's get to the Dragons versus Knights on Friday night. The Dragons 20 defeat the Knights 6. The Dragons are now sitting in 8th position, Mace. They have a real opportunity to go on a run. Valentine Holmes is the only player affected by Origin. Mm-hmm. I would say that he is also under the pump to keep his spot. I think they're talking about another options, but despite all that, even if he does play, when I looked at the schedule, I was like, can the Dragons tick some wins up over this period? Unfortunately, they get a team that is not affected as well. So round 15 is the next bye round.
Yeah,
They'll be playing the Sharks.
it's always a good game, but
In the derby.
always a good game.
Yeah, but you'd love to play a team like Penrith
They
or
got
the Cowboys.
Yeah, they got nobody in there.
Yeah. You'd love to play one of those teams. So they get the Sharks, which doesn't benefit either team. But I was just like, can the Dragons go on a little run here? Well, how do you view the Dragons?
They're in the middle.
Yeah.
They're just going to be one of those teams that could be from that 7 to like 14 range. That's where they sit.
Yeah.
They can go with anyone on any day.
I reckon there's 10 teams that sit within 16 to.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not even ruling out
everybody, nearly everyone.
everyone's available, right? 7 to 17.
Yep, everyone. Like
Yeah.
if you go to the top 4, what is it? The Bulldogs, Canberra, Warriors, and Melbourne.
Yep.
They can all beat each other.
Correct. Yep.
And then all the way down to Penrith or whoever's coming last right now.
Yep.
They can go at it as well.
Going into this round, Penrith were the best 17th place team, I think,
Ever.
in NRL history.
Yep. I reckon if Penrith play whoever's coming, whoever they got this week, a full loaded Penrith.
Full deck of cards.
That's I think they're going to be hard to beat.
All right, so the Penrith Panthers are playing. The Dragons play on Friday night against the Dolphins, and Panthers They've got the Tigers, unfortunately, for the Tigers.
So they can go on a bit of a run too.
That's a
Dragons lose this game, then they're 2 points off, then they're 1 point off the eight spot. Then they just feel a little bit of belief, mentally getting off the bottom of the table. That's a team you don't want to fuck with. Penrith, if with no injuries and everything like that, and they get a little bit of confidence. But anyway, back to the Dragons and Knights. Dragons are tough. They're tough. They're big. They're mobile. The Couchmans and, like DeBellins, Clemmers. Like Clemmer probably had his best game in a couple of years.
Easily.
Just fucking playing like a big man. So just get that.
A couple of weeks ago, I said Dragons are the opposite of the way the game's trending. But in hindsight, watching that game and the conditions, we're going into winter.
Yeah.
It's going to get cold.
Yep.
It's going to get miserable. You're going to have to play through the middle. And considering that Knights were still missing a couple of forwards, like most notably Jacob Saifidi, like he's their biggest front rower, they just dominated them through the middle.
Easy.
And they're willing to win the game 4-0 if required too.
Yeah, and that's a Flanagan coach team, right? They'll just kick you into submission, get down there, chase, complete their sets, and they'll end up, they've got enough talent out there, out wide, to get some tries.
Yeah, they do. Just enough.
Just enough. And they've got some middles. They'll test you if you want to. The nine's pretty tricky as well. If you want to get out, like Liddell and Cookie.
Yeah.
Like they'll step out, hit your big boy like Pacifica Tonga there.
He's nice.
He's nice. I saw him. He was in SG ball last year. He carved our boys up in the final last year.
We were talking about
we were talking about him. Yeah. So it's glad that he's made that jump because he doesn't look out of place. He doesn't look out of place. So good on you, big boy. Got to work on a couple of little things, fitness-wise, everything.
For sure.
But he's still played some decent. I think his 15 to 20-minute stint out there.
Yeah,
it's pretty good for a big boy.
I don't think he ever went to the ground.
No.
He was upstanding in almost every tackle. The only time he went to the ground was to score.
Yeah, and just fell out, just throwing people off. So that's another big guy you really want in your team coming off the bench and just giving that energy, young kid energy, just come on fully hyped, everything like that. So this guys like Clemmer would love that, the young kid coming on. So Couchman, which Couchman was this one that played? Toby?
Toby, yeah. Ryan, his brother. So Toby's the better out of the two.
Toby,
respectfully to Ryan.
He was on.
Yeah, he's a gun.
He was running hard, mate. He was running. He was making meters everywhere. They were pretty good, man.
Shout out to Val. We're about to talk about Kalen next after this, and I've got some comments from Adam O'Brien.
Yeah.
Shout out to Val. He's the only player that had to back up 48 hours after a loss as well. And you know what? Gags knew, and Gags went at him.
Yeah.
And Gags would have done
once.
Gags would have known because one, he's under the pump, but two, Gags knows what it's like to back up after Origin. So he would have been like, if I was going to be a little bit off here, give me some ball. I'm going to fucking go at him.
I think the Friday is not too bad when you go from Wednesday to Friday. It hasn't really caught up yet, but we'll get to the Saturday Origin backer-uppers.
Yeah.
Bit different. That's when the soreness really kicks in. But, the game is very professional now. They would have been non-stop just recovery from Wednesday night, Thursday, whole day off recovery. But then you just hit it on the Friday. So
let's move on to the Knights. And I've been critical of Adam O'Brien and some of the decisions he's made and selections and all this. And he's been getting hammered for this take about being criticised for resting KP. So he took it away from KP. He told KP he wasn't going to play. The reasons he said or identified for KP is Kalen would have had to play 3 games in 8 days because they played on Wednesday night for Origin. He would have had to have played on Friday, and they have Thursday night game against Manly. That's
good looking out.
Even though people would view it as an excuse, and for sure it's an excuse, but it's a valid excuse.
Yeah,
They keep saying the Canadians do the scheduling and that. I know the broadcasters are Channel 9 and all of that sort of stuff, and you've got to have a game on the Friday night. The game is gone past that. Origin is so much more. The game, even I heard Fletch was talking about this on SEN, right? He goes, when people compare the game that I played at Origin level or NRL level to what they're playing now.
It's nowhere near.
He goes, it's chalk and cheese. They've improved so much. And I can even say to my level playing NRL in 15, when I watch the game now, it's 2025. What these players do physically, fatigue levels,
training,
6 again
everything,
rule, training, it's completely different. They have to look at it because it's unfair for Valentine Holmes and Kalen Ponga because even though I'm sympathetic towards the Knights and KP in this, the Dragons play on Friday night. So Val's going to play 3 games in 9 days. And look, it comes back to decision-making of coaches, players, and I'm sure I want to get to Ches and Siebes in a little bit after this. Well, I'll tell you straight away. Siebes says, I've never played at that level. I don't know what, I wouldn't even comprehend what it's like to play an Origin game and back up. So he goes, I leave it purely to the players every time because they know their body's best.
And I agree with Fletch. Our era, like Origin, it was a different physicality to the game. Right, it's like and especially the middles, the back 5. It doesn't matter what position you're in Origin, unless you come off the bench and play 10 minutes. Right, if you're out there for a fucking 40 minutes or 50 minutes, you are running. You're maxing out everything. Right, and then to back up is unbelievable because the club games are fucking hard.
Yeah,
there's no rest. And like a couple of years ago, you're whinging about KP. Like we nearly rubbed him out of the game with some of the hits he was copping. He has been getting hit very hard, right? And he probably needs a little bit of a break. So like Knights fans like, we're paying him 1.5 mil and everything. Yeah, but do you want him to play for the next 3 or 4 years? Or do you want him playing on that one game on a Friday night?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And Adam O'Brien mentioned he had the ankle injury going into camp.
Yeah.
He also got that managed for about 2 or 3 days, and he said it wasn't going to turn over quick enough.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So you got to pick your poison here. And the game is so brutal, and it's just the training that there's asked from these guys as well coincided with the actual playing, and then throw a fucking hardest game in the world on a Wednesday, and then try and back up. So this 6 weeks of footy that these Origin players are playing,
draining.
How long can they maintain this? Then your 27 games. Sorry, your 27 games, and then your semi-finals, and then your Kangaroo tours and pack games.
We always
everything
talk
like
about the situation of it all, but what's the solution?
Sorry, but
solution is an extra day. So here's my thing. I thought the Saturday performances looked better, not great. Players looked fatigued at the back end of the games. Me and Mace talked about Payne, Haas, Carrigan, and the Cowboys players, and they're probably missing a few more on the Super Saturday. By the time it got to the Sunday ticket, I thought the quality had gone up dramatically. So maybe it's a broadcaster's thing. It's the Friday time slot. They want to have a game on the Friday. If you're thinking about the players' well-being and all that sort of stuff, it has to be a minimum of 72 hours for them to recover. Then you'll get guys like Daly Chair Evans who make a decision to play for their team. Payne, Haas, Carrigan, like I mentioned, they chose to back up for their teams and represent their teams because they got an extra 24 hours. And is there a way in which you can flip that Channel 9 game on a Friday to a Monday potentially?
Then does that impact the following week?
For sure it does. But then everything has. You've got like it's just
hard. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard because as you said, we're saying like this, and it's like, how do we solve this
without
because you got to understand the CBA, the amount of money that is put into these games for Friday night broadcasting and everything like that, fucking billions, right? And it's like, we've put ourselves in this position because we've held Origin at such a high standard and it's the pinnacle of the game. We figure it out. Fucking who? Volandis? Like that's who's got to figure it out. Or they just don't. You just leave it how it is.
And they won't.
And I don't think they will.
They won't.
So it's up to the players, and that's where Adam O'Brien, good looking out for KP, take it away from the player.
Yep.
You take it away because you don't let the players make a decision because we will fucking play.
And he mentioned that KP was off him for it.
Yeah, KP wanted to play because he knows that people will come out and saying, oh, we're paying you fucking this and that. Like he took that away and he's copping the brunt. Credit to fucking Adam O'Brien. But it's a weird game when we look at it, right? Like it's just how we're structured. 27 of the hardest games. Australian game, we want to put so much emphasis on growing the international game, but this fucking Origin thing,
Origins on
this 6 weeks, these 6 weeks of like the hardest game you'll ever play in your whole career, every year, right? Not every player gets to play in a grand final and win one. That's the pinnacle, right? 3 games during the year are like a grand final, and that's how much effort's been put in. It's probably more brutal, and it's like, fuck, that's 40% of our revenue. If it wasn't 40% about the NRL's revenue, you could be probably going, okay, we can tinker with it a little bit, but you can't.
If you try to explain it to the Americans,
it's unexplainable. Unexplainable.
They would look at it and that doesn't make sense.
What? The Pro Bowl? What?
Pro Bowl in the middle of the season and everyone goes hard 3 times when you're at your sore.
I don't know, man.
The NFL complain. This is how much. This is like. a comparison, and they're nowhere. As much as I love the NFL, the fatigue levels is nowhere near what we have go through in the rugby league. But they complain when they have to play a Sunday and a Thursday night game, quick turnaround.
Yeah. They're up in arms.
But then they're up in arms, but then they get a 10-day window turnaround for the following week because they never played like a Thursday and a Wednesday, for example. So
it really...
It's a unique thing that we have with Origin. It's the pinnacle. It's the way everyone prioritises it, but it is unfair, and I'm sympathetic towards the Knights and KP.
And because of and people just need to understand, because of the TV rights, you cannot just go put them on the Sunday and because Channel 9's owns pretty much the game, right? They want that Friday night slot,
for sure.
they want that Sunday. Sunday's fine, but that Friday is never not going to be rugby league.
Do you think
at 8 o'clock?
Here's a question for you. Do you think it would still get the same amount of ratings for Channel 9 if they flipped the Friday night game to Monday night on free to air, still Monday, and then played the 3 games Super Saturday, 3 games Sunday ticket like they do?
I think they'd lose a fair bit.
You reckon?
I think
Friday
so. Everyone loves Friday night footy, man.
Yeah.
Monday, I don't feel like watching footy today. You know what I mean?
Fair point.
They've tried the Monday night games.
Yeah, they did.
We were a part of that.
Yeah.
Nobody watched. They tried to copy the NFL, Monday night footy. Yeah, fucking 10 people watched.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember Monday night played at the Gold Coast or something on a Monday. Yeah. 4 people are there.
And for the players too, on a Monday night, you can't go out after as well.
Sucks,
so we used to go. What's the one in
Scuba?
Scuba.
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue.
I love it how whenever I talk about if we talk about games and shit, you've got good recall. But whenever I talk about nightclubs and areas, you
and what day?
So good.
I agree. And I thought, remember I said, I don't like to pick on Gamble, but I knew that they were you're gonna see a different set of fucking defenders there.
Yep.
And Seward, he come off, but they feel, I think, who come on for...
I think Toby Couchman went to right edge.
Couchman went to right edge, right? And then it was they just pressured him from the inside. You can't give Gamble any time or anything like that. And Lucas is a fucking good line runner, mate.
Yeah.
They carved Penrith up, but I'm just saying, that's not the same team, right? That's the reserve grade sort of edge, and this one was a proper one. And it's just their attack just looks bad.
Yeah. When you go... For sure, if you're watching that Knights game, and this is what the Dragons went into the game going, we shut Lucas down, we shut the Knights down.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah,
and that's credit to...
pressure Gamble, make him play early.
Yeah.
Don't let him dig into the line. Lucas loves an outball and everything. Put pressure on him, and then next minute he had 2 defenders on him every single time. Yeah, because he's such a good line runner.
That's a credit to where Lucas is at so early in his career.
Highly.
Because off the back of it, once you get momentum with Lucas, then Fletcher Sharp gets into the game. And Fletcher was trying and attempting to it, but there was an alert button every time Fletcher got the ball.
They were quick as hell to get out, make the 9 Crossland, Phoenix play early, and then to 7, putting pressure on Gamble. It was easy to defend. They had to have another trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, so here's my thing with it. I think they would have been heavily focused Newcastle because they had so much joy with Lucas and down Gamble's edge. There was actually more joy on the right. Gags and KPP, they were actually having more joy, but because it didn't look like they practiced that throughout the week, or at least they didn't have the confidence to go to that edge, it should have been Cogger and KPP and Gags taking
terrible
over.
Coaching if you think that's going to happen 2 weeks in a row.
In-game management, right?
You think, you think they're not watching film on Gamble and fucking Dylan Lucas all week?
Yep.
You scored 4 tries there.
3 and there should have been 4.
Yeah, but should have been, that's where you were going, where you got Gags. Gags has still got it. Still got some fucking, some in the tank. He was burning it, going against Val. Try and burn Val up as much as you can.
And you got to factor in too, you got to consider this, and when I was watching it in hindsight, but I would have sent the message out. Gags was taking it personal.
Yeah.
Val's just played Origin. He didn't play. He's Origin Gags. You just got to know your players know your cattle. All right, it's not happening on the left. They're clearly zeroing in on Lucas. Let's have some joy. KPP had a couple of times where he's looking around like this.
No one there.
It was weird. Anyway, the thing with the Knights, and this is the problem with instability with the spine, is it's the worst trait that teams get into, and I reckon the worst teams in the competition at it right now are the Knights, Titans. Kieran straightened them up a little bit more because he's a veteran half. Broncos and Tigers. East-west. Whenever they feel like they're chasing points, it's sideline to sideline, and it plays into defensive hands.
Yeah,
and all four of those teams are the worst at it, in my opinion.
And everybody should know, like, just say if you're a good attacking side and a good defensive side and you're playing against these sides who, just say the Knights in this particular moment, right? They will never finding joy, like going east-west, you know what I mean? Running direct. Because you know as a defender, to defend East, it's so easy because everybody has nearly the same defensive principles. Come up and hunt from the inside. That's the easiest way to defend. You've got to be able to hit holes.
Yeah. You need someone to straighten up, therefore it brings that extra number in, then you can have some joy off the back of it.
Yeah.
None of these, and all four of those teams.
Frustrating to watch Newcastle, man.
very, very rarely do it. Let's move on to the Storm versus the Titans, 28-16.
This wasn't
credit to the Storm, and I'll go to you after this because I've written this down. Credit to the Storm. They're currently second. They have 7 from 11, but for me, they are nowhere near their best. History says that they have the ability to flick a switch and get it right after Origin, and maybe there's some lingering injuries with Harry for sure. Like Harry only played 60 minutes before the Sharks in the Sharks game before Origin, and then he was rested again in this game. So that's, you factor that into everything that we said about Harry at the start of the game. But it just doesn't look like, and I've said this before, when Pappy, Money and Hughes play sometimes teams they're expected to blow out. I know conditions are awful.
Yeah,
this is aside from this game.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have the ability to overplay their hand. I reckon, and this is a credit to them, they play their best footy when they play against better opposition.
Yep.
You know what I mean by that?
Sometimes play down.
They do play down. They play down.
Sometimes, and usually that's not Melbourne. They never play down.
Cam, Billy,
they
and
fucking
Cooper,
stay here.
They never did that.
Never did it. They have the tendencies to play down a little bit. And the Titans nearly got them.
Yeah.
If that try was allowed.
Yeah. And it should have been.
Should have been allowed. Yeah. Then the intercept happened where Anderson got it that next ruck.
Yep.
The next play, I was like, that was.
Yeah, that was the game.
That was the game. I was just like, the Titans are coming. The Titans. It's like they've got no fear factor now. Like the Storm, you think. I reckon after round 1 to 5, you're like, shit, Storm. This is the Storms to lose the grand final, right?
Yeah, they're 3 from 6.
Yeah, and
3
I'm
from the last 6.
That's a beatable team.
Yeah.
Therefore, I reckon 6 teams can nearly win the comp.
Yep.
That's where I'm thinking now because the Storm aren't that dominant, and you can sort of you can hinder them a little bit with just fucking annoying defense or just staying in games.
So my point with this, and every team, like the league's a copycat league, and for years everyone's talked about, all right, can we copy the Melbourne model and win a competition with 3 sixes? That happened in 2021, or was it 2020?
2020.
2020. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time, like they've actually achieved that.
Yeah.
And the part where you're referring to them playing down is they can be a bit erratic because at their core, I think they're all fullbacks, right? And there's not really, and you know how much I talk about Munster and Hughes and how much credit I've given them. It's been drilled into them, the game managing. But the Melbourne Storm system, the communication with obviously Cooper Cronk and learning from those guys, but I don't think it's their natural instincts.
No.
Their natural instincts is to play footy and they're runners. And that, in a way, can be a detriment sometimes.
Yeah,
and I reckon it frustrates the shit out of Bellamy.
Yeah, it would. There's something you see walking out. He usually has about 1 walkout. He's got about 4 in him.
He had 7 or 8. Yeah.
Walking out. He usually only do 1 with the Cooper Cronk and Cam Smith. He'd be thinking, all right, you should have done this right now. He's like, there's about 4 walkouts and punching. I don't know. He must have a fucking stress ball out there or just a punching bag. He just lays into a couple of combos.
What about him on Wednesday night? How
he was so different, eh?
He was holding it in so hard.
He's in the second row.
Because
they put him in the second row.
Because he's not the coach. I don't think he knows he can't allow himself to have that sort of reaction. So you could see like the frustration and energy. And Laurie was way more
was in
animated than
Whitey was in it. Fuck, I love that. Oh, that was so good watching them.
I agree. That was good to see from Laurie.
Fucking Laurie's passionate.
I don't think I've ever seen that passion from him before.
Proper.
Maybe I just don't remember it, but because they were always under the pump, that's why.
It was a bit more stressful coaching that New South Wales team back then 10 years ago.
Yeah, and look, so that's my concern with Storm at this stage. Yes, I do think they can get it together, but that's my concern with them anyway. Jack Howarth, he had a mixed. He's a player that his name's been thrown around as an Origin smoky.
Been out for 6 weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, the shoulder injury's clearly hampering him.
Grabbing
still.
it. Who at Fafita? Jojo Fafita.
Yep.
Strong, well balanced human.
Yep.
He played well, Jojo.
Yep.
Probably his best game for a while.
All right, now let's get to the Titans' spine. And this is what I was sort of alluding to, right? So if you look at the Titans, they're trying to make all three work. Titans was so much better with Foz, a traditional half playing there. And not just because of their relationship, it's just
a gun.
It's evident. You can see it out there. There's more direction. They're trying to fit Jaden Campbell, AJ Brimson and Keanu Kinney, who's just re-signed long-term to 2030, along with Brimo too, by the way, into the halves moving
Sorry, when
forward.
did Brimo resign?
About 2 years ago, a year and a half ago,
Looking for a long
term. So, something's got to give because Brimo the week before against Canberra, you could tell he thrived being back at fullback. But injury concerns have always sort of been something that's hampered him. Hampered Brimo. Jaden Campbell looks so much better at fullback again, even though I think he's got more ability to move into the halves than the other two.
Because you're a natural footballer. That's all.
I think that someone's got to go.
Somewhat. Fuck, we said this a couple of years ago. We can't have Brimson Campbell and the Keanu Kinney threw the biggest spanner in the works.
Yeah.
Fucking that they never thought was coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't think this kid was going to be like as fucking good as he's going to be. Right? 5-year deal. He's proven. He can play. He's a gun. He's got Brimo's out of his job.
Yep.
And Campbell.
Yep. Agreed.
Like now he's a little bit injured. He signed this massive deal, so they got faith in him to come back. And
it's an indication for me.
Yeah. I'm like, if I'm Brimo or Campbell, I want out.
Here's one for you.
I want out.
Here we go. All right, I've got one for you. You're gonna love this one, Lukey. Even though I don't think he is a 5'8".
Oh, yeah. Go.
Where am I going to put Brimo?
Nah.
Perth Bears.
Parramatta Eels 5'8".
Perth?
Eels 6.
Would you?
Eels 6. You don't think Brimo, because I have my hesitancy with Brimo playing 6, but if you do play him 6, you've got to have an all-star halfback. It can only be outside of Hughes, Cherry Evans, Hughes, Cleary, Moses, and so let me say that again. Cleary, Moses, Hughes, and Cherry Evans. Established elite halves, you could get a really good 6 performance out of Brimson. And I reckon, you don't think AJ Brimson could play the running sort of non-kicking role, Lukey? I'm asking you this question.
The Dylan Brown role, basically.
He could play the Dylan Brown role. And if if they've got money, they have a young ascending team, I don't think he is working out at the Titans. And it sucks because he's a Gold Coast junior.
Young.
But if I was, close to Brimo or management, I'd start looking at other options, and I'd like, where can I play my best footy? There are so many good fullbacks in the competition. Does he want
to play 6?
No, he doesn't. Probably not. Probably not.
That's the problem. Like, he's not going to go to Para and go, I want to be I'll take you.
But it's about, I think it's potentially about having tough conversations and the reality of it. There are so many good fullbacks across the league. I wouldn't move Isaiah Yongi because I love him.
Does he play 1 year and then go, all right, Bears fullback? Fullback straight away.
Potentially. He's got a 20-30 deal, so he's probably not going to leave. Jaden Campbell's probably the more the player because he's JC's up after the following year. So, 27 potentially, Jaden Campbell. Can you have a look for that, Lukey?
Yeah.
But I just think...
Someone's got to go.
Yeah.
One of them. It's just... And it sucks because they're all gun players.
Sort of like, to a way lesser extent, the drums that the Storm have. Like, years back when they had Nico, they had
Pappy,
Billy was at the end.
Scotty Drinkwater was there as well.
Yeah.
Daniel Atkinson was down there for a little bit as well, floating around. They had so much talent.
Yeah, he's on zero tackle, he's got 25 and 26 ticked.
There you go. So 20. So November 1, people can come after JC.
Well then, as if you just say if you're one of those new franchises, you'd be wanting him.
I think I had Jaden Campbell as my recruit for Perth. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, he can go fucking get whatever cash you want, all the Kummels.
I'd pay huge money for JC to play fullback for me. Yeah.
That's what I think he's more suited at fullback.
Yeah.
We were talking. Didn't you say Kalen potentially go back to Perth as
Yeah,
well? But
Port
not if
Hedland.
Mel's there.
Pardon?
Not if Mel's there.
Ah, I like that.
What's that?
Mel.
If Mel's the Perth.
Yeah.
He's never going.
Kalen ain't going to Perth.
No
Mel's
way. Imagine that was the like he goes, okay, yeah, I agree to terms, and then Mal says his coach, he goes, I'm out. Just because of the way that when Mal got him that one, he goes, I'll get you back, son.
Let's go to the no try. The reason I believe this was the wrong call.
Yeah, it was wrong.
I agree with Desi that you have to factor in that there are two deadwood defenders around the ruck, which it forces Verrills to at least hesitate, take his time to get the ball. But the reason the rule was brought in is to not burrow underneath the leg and impede defenders. Here's where it didn't impede the defenders, and you've got to show some common sense, even though if you're doing it to the letter of the law, it's probably the correct decision. Nelson and Pappy, well, Pappy wasn't affected because he's on the wrong side of the ruck, so you can't obstruct a player that is obstructed by a player playing the ball and he hasn't moved. But Nelson, he's not down in the strong position which we're all taught. In fact, he doesn't even really react until Verrills has gone over. It was such a bad decision.
Yeah, and Tino, where's Tino supposed to disappear?
No, he does it. He just stands there.
That's what I'm saying. But he can't walk.
No.
He can't move back. He can't move left or right because he'd be impeding him. He did the right thing, and that was a bad defensive move.
Yeah.
Like Pappy should have been shoving him out of the way, getting his foot right down there, and fucking Big Nels should have got low.
Yeah,
they didn't even show any reaction.
No. Well,
And I was just like, so that's a defensive problem.
Correct.
Not an offensive. Like, what's Verrill supposed to do? What is Tino supposed to do? They did the right thing.
Yep.
There was 3 people in the ruck. He waits his turn. Tino waits. And then they make the bad decision defensively.
Well,
That was
Casey mentioned that
terrible call.
Tino impeded
Fucking didn't.
Pappy's opportunity to get to the tackle. No.
Maybe because he's 6 foot 520 kilos. Pappy's got to move.
Pappy was on the right side of the ruck. That's what impeded him. Like no one is obstructing Pappy by moving or making any movements. It was Pappy couldn't control Tino. None of them could.
No.
So he got a quick play of the ball and left some dead wood there. And that is for like sometimes you
Big
need
game, big man play.
So we keep going back to this. It has to be people within the bunker that have some game awareness and understand what is trying
Why
to
is
be
she making
achieved.
calls like that? She had no idea.
So frustrating.
Tino should have got rewarded for being a dominant human and a big man. And you guys are all skittled on the ground. Get the fuck up. Get up quicker.
100%.
I'm playing the ball. Now Verrills is like, I've got to clear the ruck. Now I see an opportunity. I'll score because those blokes couldn't get up quick enough.
Fair try.
The end. Titans win.
All right, Cowboys 32 defeated the Tigers 28. They had a bit of a scare. I tell you what, the Origin players would have been furious with the last 15 minutes. It would have felt like 58.
Was this going to be the biggest comeback in the history of the game?
26.
I was like, this is happening.
32-6, so did I.
Oh, it's like, if you're Reece Robson, you're just like, you're fucking serious?
If Tommy Dearden was in contention to take DCE's jersey, going into this game, Jeezy didn't do himself any harm because he was fucking so good. The future pairing of him and Purdue looks so much better than I thought it looked the week before.
Week before looked terrible.
And again, Jeezy makes some tough calls, Todd Payton. And I know it's only early, but he makes huge calls sometimes and he cops his licks early on. But he talked about this is the future of our spine and it's not going to look as pretty, maybe not even this year, but moving forward, his 7 and 6 is going to be Purdue and Dearden, and they linked well together.
Yeah, I like the way the Cowboys looked for like 50, 60 minutes. They were pretty good. When did they start having their comeback, the Tigers?
About 65-minute mark. Yeah,
and they just like they nearly got it. That would have been highly embarrassing.
There was some sloppy defense in order for them to get back in the
it?
game. Here, I'll get it up exactly. So where are we? I got the full time here. So
it's like these games confuse me when I was
there we go. 62-minute mark when Stafford Toll went over for his second, and he should have really scored 3.
He had a good game.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah. He cooked the centre.
Mason of the Heath variety, the little cousin, he went over 64.
Cousin went good.
Then Charlie Staines goes over the 67th, and once Dream went over, I was like, fuck, they might get him. But go back to the go back to Tommy Dearden.
Yeah.
So good. And like when I'm writing down these notes before the Manly game, it's like, fuck, that's why everyone wants Tommy to play. DCE was able to answer, and we'll get to that game after, because
that's what I liked. That's what I liked.
That's why you want DCE to play.
Yeah.
But this is Tommy's bread and butter, and he is. You know what? I was talking to someone about this recently as well, about Tommy Dearden when he first hit the scene. Normally, I pride myself in being able to project players and see talent, and I just didn't see it with Tommy at the Broncos. The size factor was obviously huge for me. I didn't think he thought he had the skill level to be at top tier. Kicking game was not great. But here's the thing: sometimes you can't predict.
You can't measure.
Will. And the dog inside someone and the way he goes after a game, and Tommy's got that in spades.
Yeah.
And that's very hard to predict.
Yeah.
That's like the Jonathan Thurston quality that people miss. That's why you miss JTs, because it's just all heart.
Yeah. And that's why the Bronx were willing to go, we tried.
Yeah.
Give him 2 years, you rush. And that was a product of like when we just started rushing sevens in straight away.
And it was a bad period.
Sink or swim was a bad period, and it was just timing and everything like that. But now he's made. He's a genuine bona fide 7-6. I don't know what position he is, 14, but he's one of the best halves in the game. This one proved it. He ran this whole team.
Yeah. And the beauty of
one thing he could work on, like just say if you're trying to go into DCE for game 2 just because he's kicking, if I was Dean, I would be non-stop just fucking trying to get another 10 or 15 on my fucking on the length.
5 will do.
Yeah, like little pop guns. Like why is Moses pump the thing 60 metres on the fly? He's non-stop kicking.
He did a good clip with Toddy and Mitchie talking about, as a kid, didn't realise it was going to pay him back in this fashion. He just went down and did heaps of kicking when he was a kid. And he just always had a ball in his hands. And his dad
Moses?
Moses.
Yeah.
And not to say that Tommy didn't do that, but if there's any young kids, it's a great clip for young kids to listen with the kicking.
I'd be just getting some AFL player in the off-season, and just getting there and just long, like punt kicks like Birdo.
Yep.
Just getting like at least 50 on the fly all the time, cage kick. I'm pretty sure he's been working on that.
For sure.
But I don't think he was never really a massive kicker when he was coming through.
No, he's got a good short
kicking game, beautiful, but he was never a long king. And if he puts that into his strengths, like you're going to be first pick, Nelly, in most teams.
Here's what could play against Ches when I was watching the game. The reason it's not as noticeable for the Cowboys, where it's like I feel like it doesn't affect them, because they've got Scotty Drinkwater. So Scotty can play the fullback position, and he's like a half as well. He's got a good long kicking game. Not like it's solid, right?
Yeah.
Kalen's got that. So if that is the factor, and if you do decide to move away from Ches, because Ches's best attribute right now is his kicking game, then maybe that could play against or at least a tick towards Tommy and play against Ches. I thought the difference in the game for sure was Griffin Neem and Colin Heff off the bench, because if you look at the bench and of the Tigers, Brent Naden had to come on and play back row. That's how thin the Tigers are at the moment. Sione Fainu, the brother, he's a good solid bench player, but probably be
not much.
Probably be squad number 19 and 20 in a proper NRL team. Suker and Birdie at this point of his career, he is. You sort of want him as a Mr. Fix-It, not to come on as early as he did, because I think who went down? Royce Hunt, and they had to move Seyfarth up in the front. And that was that. They just look small. Yeah. The Tigers look small, and the Cowboys look fucking big and aggressive. Power through them.
Yeah, McLean was having a crack, but then when Neem and Cohen Hess come on, they would just rough shot. All through their ruck everywhere. You know what I mean? Like they were making 10, 15 metres, and it just took its toll. But then it switched. I was just like, how the fuck is this happening? Because even Taylor May, like he's usually been outstanding. He had probably one of his Terrell May probably had his worst game of the year.
Yeah.
He just looked a little bit drained, I think. Just a little bit.
Well, for sure the sin binnings were a factor.
Yeah.
They scored four of his ass. They scored 4 of their tries, 2 in both periods, while they had 12 on the field. And although I'm sympathetic towards them scoring those tries, you've got to try to get away from both of those periods with only 1 try. You can't afford to leak that way. Like there are teams that, like the Roosters, or who was it the other week, when they had someone in the bin, and the Dragons
scored 2 tries.
And Dragons scored 2 tries. You're not expecting that on a weekly basis, but you've got to find a way to galvanise, Lockie.
Yeah.
Tigers, back to Lockie again, galvanise and come up with a defensive.
Yeah.
You've got to get a stop.
Yeah.
Get a stop.
So they scored straight away and they
Straight
scored
away.
straight. It looks like, like sometimes when you, like going back to that St. George thing, sometimes it looked like they had an extra number.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is,
That's
what are
how
they
bad the
doing? That's
Broncos
how
are
bad. The
playing, yeah.
Tigers are just like, as soon as Luai was just pushing it too far at the start, I think that the ref made the right decision. He was pushing it a fair bit.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I hated the explanation. So the explanation was it's mandatory to send you guys off after 3 infringements, ruck infringements, so 6 again.
Is it?
I don't know.
That's
I agree with it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
hate
just
it when
like-
I see it. Like it happens I think it happens weekly.
yeah, just say, mate, you just fucking stop giving 4 penalties away in a row.
Well, Jerome doubled up,
Yeah.
so he really stood out. And I actually think Jerome should have got sent to the bin.
Yeah.
But I hated because Jared Sutton goes, sorry, Jerome, it's
just
mandatory.
doesn't have to.
It's mandatory in the email that he gets from his boss that
Yeah.
you have to be
Yeah,
doing.
he don't have
It's
to
not
ex-
textbook mandatory.
He don't have to
But
explain
also-
that to Luai. Just fucking go for 10, mate. You're just pissing me off.
No, here's my thing. If you say that it's mandatory, why doesn't it happen every week?
Yeah.
That's my fucking issue.
It's crackdown email I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
they're like, this is what you got to do.
Well, say, yeah, fair point, Lukey. Like maybe it's something that was sent out like in an email throughout the week, and Jared Sutton's the only one that read it because I see it happen all the time. And when he said fucking,
He's the only one who read it.
like he looked at Jerome and he goes, "Mate, it's mandatory. I got to go." And you know what? Because he said that, Jerome was like, "Oh fuck," and walked. And I reckon if he has his time back, I'm like, "Fuck, we see that every week."
It's 3 penalties in a row on the line every time.
By
Six
the
to
way-
go, 6 to go, 6 to go.
I want to make this clear. I believe it was 10 in the bin. I just hate
He did deserve it. He deserved 10 in the bin,
Deserved
but he
it.
just don't have to explain that, mate.
Yeah.
Just say, look,
Yeah.
you just give 4 away.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have
Jerome,
that.
3 in
you
a row.
by yourself.
You've backed up. You've gone
Unless
2
the
in a
rule
row.
is if it's one person giving 3 away, it's not the team. Just if one, that might have been the manifesto that went out. You gave away 3 or 4 in a row. You're going to the bin.
Yeah.
That's it. Not everyone.
You could tell Luai because you know what was a factor in it too, like on both sides. Johnny Bateman clearly
Yeah, he
wanted
was
to win
on.
that game.
Yeah.
He was on, and Jerome clearly wanted to get into Bateman. So when
Yeah.
this is where it started. Bateman took the carry, and Jerome roughed him up and was
Yeah,
expecting a
yeah.
response from Bateman. Bateman just gets up,
Smart
plays the
Bateman.
ball. Yeah, he Batemaned him.
He's the best bait. He's the best bait man out there.
Did he Bateman
He's
him?
the bait man.
He Batemaned him.
He's the baitman.
He Batemaned him. Anyway, so Jerome gets up pushing a shove, then he works hard for marker and then makes the second one. So, yeah. I found that really interesting. Jerome was trying to get some get back for the Tigers of old.
Yeah.
But I want to give, credit to a couple of players really standing out. Dream Ball is really standing out. He's going to be a top-tier fullback for a long
He'll be
time.
pushing for a representative honours in a couple of years, I reckon.
Where, he's one of
Where
those
is he?
weird ones where apparently I think he grew up in
Fiji.
Queensland or sort of played his junior footy in
All right.
Queensland, but I think
Which
he's
name? Not Bateman. Who are you
Buller.
talking about? Buller.
Dream Buller.
But,
Dream the
but
dream.
apparently he goes for New South Wales. He's one of those weird ones. Anyway,
Well, the Tigers are full of them.
shout out to Stafford Tower.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good.
He fucking in and away, a little
Yeah.
right, left palm, little flick. He was in his bag on the weekend. Who was he up against?
Nah, he
Was
can't
he
play.
the
The young
The corner?
kid. Yeah, so Kentucky Derby was the left wing. And
what's his name? Is it
no, he wasn't. Jackson Barlaw played his first game on the left.
Carved.
Played good. Still got the fucking odd erratic
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
defensive read. And,
Yeah,
mate,
where
he's
am
a
I?
player. I watch Jackson sometimes and go, he does some mad
He's been
shit.
watching Dom Young defensive fucking videos.
And Marky Mark.
Yeah,
too.
Mark.
They all hang out together.
They all do video together.
Back to Jareem.
Just stand there and do fucking nothing.
What a mix is this? Born in Auckland,
Yeah.
of Fijian, Indigenous, Australian and Samoan descent.
Yeah.
He relocated to Kira Park at the age of 13.
Apparently he goes for New South Wales. That's the chat.
He can play. He can
And
play
then-
for New Zealand, but
when did he come
the
into the
Kiwis
Tigers
are coming
system?
after him soon.
We've got some gun fullbacks, man. Guess what? If Kalen decides that for whatever reason he wants to represent New Zealand and make the change, we've got Kalen Ponga,
Chance.
Keanu Kinney, Chance Nickel-Klogstad, KO Weeks,
Yeah, damn, KO.
and now we've got Dream Buller. Dream Buller's a Kiwi too. We're taking Dream. No.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think
he'd be a good centre too. I reckon he's just really built well.
Like a hammer?
Yeah.
You can
just
put
he
Hammer
can
in the
play. He can play
centres?
anywhere.
He's a
I
footy
think-
player.
Yeah, he can just play.
It's a callback from too long ago. I'll say it after.
What were we going to say?
Come on, mate.
Okay. And you can edit it out if you don't like
Yeah,
it.
Joseph Manu to 6 at Para.
Get out.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. You
Get
want
it
that?
back.
You
Edit that
want that?
No, I just saw him at the
He
Roosters
could do
yesterday.
it.
Well, if he's fucking at the Roosters game, he's going to the Roosters, not the Eels. He ain't attending Combank. He was at
Sit with
Allianz.
Rolsey.
No, just I don't know why it just popped in my head.
Because you're thinking about New Zealand fullback.
Yes.
That's why. Yeah. That's why. All right, Seagulls 36. Anything else?
Wow.
On that?
Nah. Tiger showed some balls coming back,
and the
man.
centre-
They could have
and
been
the
50.
And the centre that's what was in.
Labert. That's it, yeah.
Left centre.
Because
Right.
he's a Kumul. He's played for the Kumals.
He has, yeah. Both him and his brother have.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, they had a good battle there.
Yeah. Seagulls 36 defeat the Broncos 6. We'll get to the Broncos in a bit. But I'm proud of Ches, mate. After all not all the feedback, all the pressure going into Origin 1, the disappointment of the loss in Game 1, the criticism from him and his I guess selection for Game 2 and that being questioned. He went into that game as the oldest player to play for Queensland. He's now the oldest player to back up from Origin.
Fucking good on him.
Which is, again, you appreciate that more than anyone, Mace. And it's ironic, and I wrote down it's ironic, then I watched the game for the Cowboys and Tommy Dearden's running game and everything that you want from Tommy Dearden for that Queensland jersey.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking.
Tommy ticked it, and then Ches comes out and goes, all right, if there's one part that you think Tommy lacks, it's a kicking game, and he puts on an absolute masterclass.
I reckon Ches is sitting there watching KO till the 2-minute warning. He goes, I've got to kick the shit out of this ball. I'll show you how to kick, boys.
I love it.
No, I was proud of Ches, and I think watching the game again as well. He just wasn't outstanding and dominant,
and he had to be, right?
He did, and everyone was just expecting this fucking kicking masterclass and everything like that. It was one of those games where he didn't do anything that stood out. But that's the whole of fucking Queensland, nearly.
Yeah,
and they got put into these positions. As I said, credit to New South Wales defence, but he hit back. He clapped back at Dearden's performance. I reckon he would have found out or somewhere, and he's just like, I need to show everyone why I'm in this team and why I still deserve another chance. So if he does get another chance, I'm all for it. I was against it on just straight after the game. I'm like, they need to change that, and I'm like, but yeah, if Dearden's kicking game is can't hit 50, 60 on the fly and put New South Wales on the back foot, you're catching bombs on your 30 or 40. It's that plays into New South Wales' hands. Dylan Edwards takes those metres up, but if Cherry can get on the front foot, and their forwards can get on the front foot, which they will be in Perth. That's what you need,
and you know what? Like, and saying this as well, because I was asking the questions to you because I seen it, right? And it was raw, and we'd watch the game originally. But sometimes you got to go back and watch it back.
Yeah, I did.
And then the thing is, right? We're able to sometimes go, all right, we've got to take on something, change our opinion on it.
Yeah.
But there are clearly people within the media that have a narrative towards him as well. No. So you have to factor that in.
Probably never watch it again.
That factors into the noise around it. So that's what, and that's why I'm so proud of Ches as a mate, because he hears all the noise. He's able to block it out. He's the oldest player to play Origin. Father time, it's undefeated, all that. I think he deserves a chance to rewrite the wrongs of Game 1 and gives himself the opportunity. And if not, that's it for him. And we'll all clap him out. And
if it is, and
give him his swan song.
Yeah, if that's the end for Ches now, like fuck mate, he can hold his head really high because he didn't go out getting demolished like people just thought, Cherry's got to change it because, I don't know what you expect him to do. I honestly don't. Go back and rewatch the game. He didn't do anything special, but I'm not sure what you wanted him to do. Fucking go in there and step around and he ain't Benji Marshall or anything like that or Sean Johnson. He's a methodical player. He's good kicking game. He's good at all these things. Good defensive player. Like it's just, they just didn't win.
He said it himself after in the presser as well. He's like, if that was. Like, although, of course, I want to play.
Yeah.
Like, this is not in the presser after the game with Billy, which was an awkward situation. Because you can tell Billy's 100% thinking about his selections in his head. Why is he next to John? This is going fucking hell. Everyone's talking about my coaching record now. But next to Siebes, and he's like, of course I'd love to play. I always want to represent my state, but I fully understand that there's a chance it could go the other
How many
way.
times have you seen a halfback dominate the game when your forwards get absolutely fucking smashed? How
Just
many
doesn't
times?
happen.
It does not happen,
Yeah.
right? New South Wales forwards were so dominant that their halves could not do anything.
Even Nathan Cleary looks human this year with the Penrith Panthers because they're not on the same.
That's
they're
what I'm
not
saying.
on
How
the
many
front
times?
foot like they have
Even
been
in a
years
club,
past.
in a club
Yeah.
level, if your forwards aren't dominating, your 7 isn't doing shit but kicking you out of trouble and trying to make his tackles and trying to get you in a better position. And that's all DCE did, right? If they make a change, make a change.
All right, positive for Manly to what could be conceived negative. Perceived, not conceived. Perceived negative. And I keep bringing this up, and I feel like I'm the only one that really talks about this and talks about the changes that need to happen there. But if Manly are fair dinkum, the way that Hopper played in this game, Leo Hopewadi and some of the outside, and I'm even going to go and talk
see
about
that
Taleo and
first-
Falalo as well.
That first run that he did.
Mate, he's
You know who he ran between?
Payne Haas
Payne Haas and Hetherington.
Hetherington.
They fucking through. Like they were together.
He's
and he
so
went
strong,
through.
mate.
How the fuck is he so strong?
Yep.
And his eyebrows are so perfect. It's beautiful.
So with Lehigh, and this must, like, there have been games where I've watching this year going, okay, that's why they put Tommy back. But it must be tough for Lehigh to go in and out of first grade, in and out of positions. He's only a young player. He's got a huge future.
Yep.
And I have to say this every time because he's a champion player, champion human, and he's, you know, at his peak, we wouldn't even be considering this. But Tommy's out with a cork on the weekend. And before that, when I was talking about the injuries at the start of the year, everyone was going, oh, no, there was a contact injury with an MCL or a PCL compared to what it was before. I get all that. It's different every time. And if you want to try to get some continuity, and if you really want to care, if you care about the welfare of Tommy Turbo, which is the most important thing, and you care about the way, care about having a player of his ability in your salary cap and in the team week to week, then he needs to change positions. Because Lehigh can play fullback at a high click.
He's got to play right centre or left centre, whatever it is, just in the front
Wing,
line.
it's wing, it's wing. And this is why it's wing based. And I keep going back to this. When you watch how effective, and we've seen this firsthand, Zach Lomax as a centre at the Dragons, Parramatta Eels, he's a solid 7 out of 10 player. When he plays on the wing, he can still have an impact and be a hybrid. Like, if I was Siebes, I'd be watching Zach Lomax video.
Do you think Turbo's got that explosiveness?
Not
Zach?
but not the power and the explosiveness,
yeah.
just the ability to float and still be involved in the game.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Zach doesn't remove himself from the game, and I'm telling you, it's the way that people still view and talk down on the position, like you did.
No,
I'm just
like I think wingers are harder position than centre.
yes, yeah,
Physically.
yeah, agreed. But also, I still think they can have more of an impact on a game than what centers can. That's my biggest thing, and to even get to that conversation, where I think they need to get to, they have to consider moving Tommy from fullback
To the front line somewhere.
And when I was watching the game, I was like, I was watching the game glass half empty because I was a bit of a pessimist because I want Manly to go well. I want Ches to fucking win in his last season at Manly, so I'm rooting for Manly.
But I was thinking, like, if you're talking about longevity of Turbo, I don't think wing's the best spot because he's fucking getting jammed. Play twos and stuff like that. Like, they're hard runs.
Yeah, I fully.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, if he played centre wing, like, just be in the front line and you can just switch, like you've said before. Like, you can switch of who's the other guy? The other centre?
Mace. So here's my argument back towards that.
Yeah.
You played in the middle, you played
Yeah.
edge, and you had the ability, if required, you could have gone out and played in the
swap.
centres. Just think about the concentration that's required when you move from a little bit further out wide. I played middle, edge, and sometimes had to play centres. When I played edge back row, I went in there. I had no time to think when I was in the middle. When I went out to the left edge back row, a little bit more time to think. I had more time to communicate.
Yeah.
I had a little bit more in. When I went out in the centres, it felt like I was fucking resting and not doing anything. I never even got to play wing. So what you do is you remove that from Tommy completely. Where yes, they work offensively really hard and they're required so much. But he can almost just switch off on the wing until it gets to play. Unless I understand that. Unless you look at a lineup, Mace, and they're in attacking shape, and you're all right. I've got to be on with something on. Watch Lomax on the weekend for all the carries he did, right? And then you see him in back play defensively. He's on play 1 and 2. He just walking back to his wing. And not to say that Zach's lazy.
No, it's just because you can do that.
It's the position. So he's able to regain all that energy that he just exerted. Sometimes he has 2 carries a set or a carry a set and then it competes for a high ball. But then he just strolls back to his wing. So I want to conserve as much energy for Turbo as possible.
Yeah. I don't think the physicality would be worrying with Turbo, to be honest. I think...
Well, the physicality is there and tough for him because he has to play fullback, right?
No, but I'm just saying, but just say fullback, he's got about 20, 30 metres, he has to go.
Yep.
Like, just say in the play 2s and that, you fucking cop and contact pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
So we can skip over, pick wherever he wants to go on when you're not really getting pumped all the time, right? When you're on the front foot sort of thing, later in the halves and everything, he can sort of pick his mark and go wherever he wants. So it's a good shout. It just depends if he wants to play wing.
No, but this is the thing, right?
He's got to take it out of his hands.
He wouldn't want to because he's a champion player.
Yeah, I know.
He's an elite
What
player.
if he plays centre and just put 3 on your back and then play wing?
Probably. That would probably be an easier conversation because I don't know these younger players. That's the way they view it.
Got to happen.
For sure it does, right? And the example that I'm using, and it would have been a tough conversation. Imagine how hard it would have been for Anthony Minicello to hear that in 2013. Robbo go to him and go, hey, you've been the best fullback in the game for a long period of time. You've had your injuries. We've got a guy called Roger Tuivasa-Sheck on the wing.
He can take some.
He's a rookie. We need to get him more ball. We need to get him in the red zone. We need to see more of him. And it's not like... it's a check to the ego because the player sits there and goes like, I'm still fucking Tommy Turbo. I'm still Anthony Minicello. Yeah. But for the betterment of the team, it needs to be had. And
I think Turbo's that sort of player who is for the betterment of the team.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I think you could have that conversation. That's just up to Seabold to have that conversation with him. If he sees that and for the betterment of the team and he knows what Turbo's like, I think Turbo took himself out of that origin equation because he fucking knows that he wasn't quite up to it at that stage. And then if he has that real conversation with Seabold has that with him, say, look, we're just going to take some carries off you. That's all. Let the young kid take some heat.
Yeah, there has to be.
I don't know. Just got to be a compromise.
Yeah, there's got to be a compromise somewhere.
Do you want to play till you're 33, or do you want to play till you're 30?
See, that's how I'd pitch it to him, and I'd be like, all right. And this might not be for the rest of your career. That's the way I'd go. I'd go, Tommy. Like, how old is Tommy? Can you have a look and see?
27.
Turbo, yeah.
27, 28.
You'd be 28 this year.
I'd go, Tommy. Give me a season on the wing. Come 96. In, do your yardage carry.
26. 27 this year.
He's 26.
Okay. No, he's born in 96. So
96.
28.
Yeah. 28. I'd go, Tommy, give me your best possible effort on the wing and buy into what we're trying to do here now. And then we'll revisit it if you can string together the rest of the season.
I fucking agree. That's up to the coach, right? And the management and everything to have that chat with him.
You know what's another one they need to have? Talau and Falalo should be playing over Jason Saab.
Yeah. Yeah, Falalo is a fucking gun.
When we're talking about, like, especially when you look at the forward pack, and I've done stuff with Sabi before, and I've also been hesitant to talk about this stuff because it's Manly and there's a relationship with Ches, and sometimes it looks like people could view it as I'm getting talk, maybe having conversations with Ches. I never talk about selection or anything with Ches. I want to make that clear. But I'm watching the game, and we sometimes struggle through the middle to gain yards. And when you see Tommy Talau and Falalo play 2 carries, you can't afford to have a guy like Jason Saab who does. Jason Saab is a luxury piece. You know what? This is the example where I reckon Jason Saab would have suited the Brisbane Broncos of 2023. Wasn't required. Tough carries coming out of yardage from everyone's playing. He had Herbie Farnworth. Just so you got Herbie Farnworth, Tony Staggs, Selwyn Cobbo, and he probably takes Jesse Arthur's spot, right? And he kills it. He probably scores 30 tries.
Yeah.
But you can't. This team is not constructed for Sabi because he doesn't get in and do the hard carries. And you can't always, and it's the same thing, it's the criticism that I've got with, so if you have Turbo not able to re-engage the line and get a quick play of the ball, and then you fucking follow it up with Sabi on play 2, no wonder they're fucking so erratic with their performances.
I agree.
It was like pissing me off watching the game.
Those two they were outstanding.
You see Lehigh and unheralded guys like Tommy Talau and Falalo playing better than what we'd seen in better name or higher paid players.
Look who they played against. I know they come.
I know.
They only had 2 backing up from Origin. Not like that. They didn't have 6 or 7 like they usually do.
And they're super talented. They're just not playing to that level. they got out enthused by younger guys, didn't
Yeah,
they?
100%.
So even more to my point.
That's good. Some good takes there. Some thinking points
Positivity?
some thinking points for that coaching staff.
Yeah.
Look what you can do when you get it right. 36-6 against the Broncos, who everyone's tipping grand finalists, top 4, all this shit, fully stacked. I know Payne Haas and Carrigan coming off Origin, but fuck, you still handed it to them.
And here's the thing too, right? Yeah, 100%. The criticism, or you can perceive criticism of the staff and looking at the club, is they've had people within the 4 walls that they've let go. Jamie Humphreys of the world, KO Weeks of the world. So it's not like they haven't had talent. They've had talent, and I believe they've got it in Falalo and Talau that are better players.
Yeah, I like those
that
two.
for whatever. Look at Tui Pelotu at the Dragons. I know the money man is carried on a little bit with his try celebrations, but he was fucking killing it for the Dragons.
Yep.
So there are players within the team right now that can help the team perform better.
Yeah, this is selections.
Positivity.
Yep.
Hamoli Olakawatu.
Yeah, fuck, he's back. He's back.
He's back. That's it. And Ches also brought him the part that I loved as well, that Ches actually brought him into the game.
Yeah, that's what he needs.
Yeah.
Like he needs Ches, go, just feed the big man.
Punch a hole too.
Yeah, just fucking go.
We know you want early ball. We know you can do the beautiful shape.
Yeah.
I'll give you variety, but also
Yeah.
give me 3.5 where you just punch inside and outside Ezra Mam.
Because sometimes when he does get early ball, right, you can really dictate where he goes defensively.
Yeah.
If you're a really good defensive system, left four, you can get at him, get his legs and all that sort of shit. But when he hits inside shoulders, that 3-man better watch out.
Fuck yeah.
Ezra Mam, you know what I mean? You got that 4-man's good there. You got to check him when he's got that real deep line, because he can hit you on an out ball, close it in. Like it's scary. I'd rather him get early ball. If you're Ezra Mam, then you can fucking attack legs. I don't want a fucking full ball inside shoulder.
When it's early ball, it's the ball in 2 hands for him, so he's not running with the same vigor.
Yeah.
When it's off the back, when it's at the line, he has no choice but to go.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be that close to the line. It just has to be a 2 pass and then him just running that lead line, not even thinking about the guy out the back. Just give me on the ad line. Easy.
Broncos, not as easy.
Jesus.
What's going on there?
What is happening?
Man, I'm trying to I still fully do believe in Madge. And here's the thing. I think they've made some decisions recently where they're trying to figure out who wants to be a Bronco, right? And who is still sort of got a bit of a hangover. And I said before, I think it's been overblown. The results haven't been great, but there must be there must be a couple of bad eggs still within the playing group that are not Team Madge and clearly Team Kevy.
Jeez.
But also, sorry, the part with Ches and we complimented Ches. You can tell with Jesse Arthur's playing fullback how important positional play and communication is.
Yeah.
Because he did a sound job and he worked his backside off Jesse, but you could tell Ches just picked him
Found
apart.
the ground.
Found the ground every time. Nearly every time.
Yeah. And that just fucks up their field position.
Yep.
The middles have to go back even further. You know what I mean? So Jesse Arthur's, he can do a job there, but they were just really poor all over the joint. I think, as I said, they had Payne Haas backing up, and they had Carrigan. Usually they have like 6.
And they had the bye.
5 or 6, and they had the bye. They should have been coming out. I thought they were going to blast the Eagles, especially with no Takayaho or anything like that.
Yeah.
Their middles, even like Payne Haas and Carrigan playing being outstanding in Origin, still run through the middle.
No Siwa, no Jakey, no Turbo. Like I know I was critical of what Turbo's been playing like.
36-6.
Yeah.
Like that says a lot. And where they are at the moment, they need to fix that shit real quick.
Here's from a message from Mike Gosnell. Hey boys, is it time for a Broncos rebuild? They've made it to the finals once in the last 5 years. Maybe it's time to let guys go who have been around for a while. E.g. Cobbo, Staggs, Jordan Ricky, Kobe Hetherington. It gets frustrating as a fan listening to experts say how this team's stacked with superstars, yet we can't make the top 8. Love the potty boys. Keep it up. It's a genuine question. And the 2 guys that stand out at the top of the list are Cobbo and Staggs for differing reasons. Now, they've been there for a while. That's a tough one because Cobbo, in my opinion, has the ability to make you look silly if you let him go and he goes somewhere else. Same as Katoni Staggs. Katoni Staggs different. He's all heart. He's been trying his backside off, but still...
Limited opportunities. Limited.
The right side, it feels like all the right side does is just tackle all the
Jordan
time.
Ricky. Jordan Ricky, as I said when we first started, he was a gun attacker, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't hit a hole for fucking 2 years. He hasn't been in the clear. Like
Just tackling all the time,
he
aren't
just
they?
tackles and kick chases. Like, it proves that you can get the ball. Ola Kawatu, Liam Martin still gets some quality ball, but it looks like they've forgotten about him. He just kicked chases.
Cobbo's the one I want to focus on.
Yeah.
Because Cobbo's a really tough one. He's clearly, we talked about how hard they've been training. We talk about it all the time, body shapes and all that stuff. Cobbo's body shape is just nowhere near what it was at the start of the year.
I'm not sure how you can put. Is it the jerseys, or can you put on 3 or 4 kilo in a week?
I think you can in about a month or two you can, because at the start of the year I thought he looked sharp. For whatever reason he moved back to fullback, and look, you can't be with these players 24/7, right? So it's about what they're doing away from the paddock is just as important as what they're doing at training. But Cobbo's the player. If you do get him to focus, or you send him to a coach like Wayne Bennett, he gets the best out of him. Yeah. So it's a tough conversation or a tough call to make on Cobbo. But maybe you do have to clear a few players out that are just like...
There'd be a big call on Cobbo and Stags.
Yeah.
I think it'd be, and I think it's going to be Cobbo.
I heard Stags was done.
And I think it's going to be Cobbo. I think he just probably needs a fresh start. I don't think he probably likes this. I'm only just sort of guessing. I don't think he likes the style of Madge. If Madge is the Madge that I know, right, he'd be fucking riding him a fair bit.
Yeah, big time.
And some players just don't respond.
But here's the thing: Cobbo's actually putting up big numbers. Yeah. Like physically, in the way he takes on the game, I don't doubt that with Cobbo.
No.
I'm just looking at the body shape, and
that just shows me that you're not fully in because you're eating whatever you want.
And that could be a thing that Madge would be thinking for sure. That's the first. That's my first
look
thought.
At, man.
Fair or unfair, that's my first thought. Looking at Selwyn.
Look, he's a professional player, mate. It's just looks like he's put on at least 3.
I feel like,
and
from
it's
the start
like
of the year,
you don't. That's things that you need to stay on top of being a professional player.
Yep.
All the noise of the Stag stuff has just died.
I think Stags is taking care. I think Stags are. I think the big play is Cobbo. I think Cobbo could easily be in a North Queensland Cowboys outfit.
North Queensland Cowboys.
Well, I think so. Somewhere like he's definitely not coming down to Sydney.
He was linked to North Queensland early on. That I feel like that's died down.
Yeah, but yeah.
The other chat. So the two that died down that were
did Galvin.
Yeah, but that was tactically.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But you don't know what's going on.
That was tactically played down. The other two, probably more important because I think maybe Selwyn Cobbo's he doesn't strike me as a Madge player long term. So you're not going to spend a huge amount of salary cap on Selwyn Cobbo if you're the Broncos. It's Katoni. He's all effort. He's all heart. You can tell he looks after himself. He cares about his performance. That's a tough conversation, and I thought that was done recently, but now it seems like it's fallen away. And the other one was apparently Reynolds was going to stay, but then now that's all died down again as well. So Ren might be even the tough conversation.
Yeah. And he said before he was willing to retire or go down to Sydney or something like that to sign a Katoni or a Cobbo because they've been there longer and they,
all 3 of those guys are off contract at the end of the year.
Who do you keep?
I think Katoni,
when's Payne Haas off?
The following year.
Year after?
Yeah.
They could blow it right up.
And the danger signs.
But why would you? I mean, it's a big call, even with Ricky and all those sort of guys as well. What do you do with him? I'd say he'd be off contract in a year or 2.
The following year.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. The Brendan Piakuras of the world, the Dean Mariners of the world. Because that's where it's puzzling or confusing watching the Broncos.
Wait, Ricky is until 27, so does that mean it's November 1 this year?
No, the following year. So Ricky's got another year. The confusing thing with watching talented players like Brendan Piakura and Dean Mariner get beaten out by Jacheski and Shibasaki, journeyman veteran guys that just haven't been established themselves, is what it must be a work ethic thing for those guys because talent-wise, those 2 guys
should be starting.
And I know Jacheski's been out for a while now, but Shibasaki's maintained his spot over Mariner the entire time. And Mariner comes up with the odd error every now and again, but also he does shit that Shibasaki just can't do. So
it's fucking... It's a shit show, it looks like, up there.
I think
it looks very, very like just to coach him, just be Madge and the amount of pressure that he'd be feeling, the external pressure from those old boys.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The Kevy side of things, the Courier Mail, like everything would be against him, wanting him to fail, like it's happening. You know what I mean? I told you we shouldn't be fucking getting any New South Wales people in there, not one of us, and fuck, I just could feel it, and I feel sorry for him because one thing he has got control over is the coaching and trying to get the best out of these young men. And it just seems to not happen. Yeah. Seems to be not happening.
It's funny. I just resurfaced a clip from Cheese a couple of weeks ago talking about it on the buy round. He's like, it took him a while for them to buy into it, and it just resonated with me this morning thinking about their game. And it's like Cheese had to go, fuck, we're on a tour here. This is supposed to be fun at the end of the year. It's not fun. Madge is training us too hard. Eventually, they bought into it, won a Pacific Championship, played heaps better, made it a final or whatever, or got beaten in a semi-final against Australia to go into the World Cup final. So maybe it's Madge is trying to figure out who's a part of the plan and who's not.
I think I've got. If they get through Origin, you get Walsh back. You have the whole deck of cards pretty fit and ready to roll into the back end of the year. They could be the most dangerous team in the comp because if they catch fire, they can take this comp out.
If they start feeling themselves.
Yeah, if they start getting that swag back and everything like that, dusting some teams up by 40 or 50. That's all this team needs. Confidence. Right now, confidence is at an all-time low. They'll be copping shit on like from every single social media sort of outlet, newspapers, external pressure where this is where leadership comes in, where coaching comes in. And just get everybody in and lock in, siege mentality, block everything out because you know it's like up there. They only care about the Broncos.
Darren Lock-in. But that's like a good point. Yeah. All of their OGs and their most successful OGs, they're all in media.
Yeah.
They're all either Fox
saying
some Channel 9.
It ain't the most positive stuff, is it? They're not.
They all love Kevy.
They love Kevy. They've won, you know, when you win 3 or 4 premierships with someone and you're so beloved like Kevy, it's hard to say anything positive about the Broncos and Madge. Even if they want to, right? It still comes across disingenuous.
All right, this is going to maybe be a comment that comes across disingenuous towards the 2023 Warriors team. I think this New Zealand Warriors team is a more complete team than the 2023 Up the Waz team.
Yeah.
Watched them, called the game yesterday, was watching them live, the way they move, the way they've got a clear plan. Defense, mate. Because I called both. So I seen Rabbitohs play twice now to the call. The first game was against the the Canterbury Bulldogs. They had a really good kicking plan and kick reception plan that they exposed the Rabbitohs in. The Warriors tried it, attempted it. Didn't have as much success. But still, like, fuck, I think Chance ran for 300 metres.
Jeez, he had a good game.
I think Roger ran for a $150, $180 on the official Fox Sports. And they had some joy there, but the South Sydney Rabbitohs team is so much more improved from when they played Cronulla and Bulldogs at the start of the year.
Big time.
So they've done a better job. But a few weeks ago, we were questioning Luke Metcalf's kicking game, and then the week after he came out and silenced us straight away, and I think Val Holmes had a shocker.
Killing it.
Those kicks.
From the sideline?
No, the one that he shanked 10 metres from the right. He tried to push it. He missed one 10 metres to the right side of the post, the Rocco Berry try.
Ah, did he? Okay.
And then he nailed it from the sideline.
It's all the ones that I remember.
So credit to him for bouncing back. But my concern with Metcalf and the kicking is, for me, they're a top 4 team confirmed. Yeah. I've seen enough now.
Yeah.
Even the Raiders lost last week, and then this close victory, a lot of people might go, oh, fuck, they let him back into the game. Rabbitohs come after it, and Latrell played out of his skin. The Warriors are a top 4 team. They've got to get the kicking right when it comes to big games. I know we've seen Nath stuff it up in Origin just recently, but he quickly corrected that. Different balls too. He was so much better against Parramatta at Combat.
Yeah.
I think I keep going back to it. I think the Warriors are a top 4 team. Metcalf has to just everything else in his game is so good at the moment.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job of managing the team whilst also having the X factor to play a short side for that try, that solo effort that he scored, which is still the 6 in him that you still love to see.
I love that. He's figured it out. Like he's a genuine genuine 7, right? We were a bit harsh on him at the start of the year. I didn't think he could play 7 because of his running game.
PJ Marsh.
So he's figured it out, the difference in like being the controller, getting everyone to their points, and then if you fucking slip out if you go at Egan or something like that and you slip up at marker, your details off and your A goes out, he is that quick. You're gone.
He's
done it a couple of years.
He does a couple of nice runs.
He's flat and fast.
Yeah.
He's flat and fast. So if you're not tucked in at A and you're not doing the right things, you're getting burnt. And if you come out, he's going to get you on the inside or outside. He's got a trick bag on him. His kicking game in general play is outstanding.
It's better than I thought.
Yeah, and his defence is...
It's got more juice in the kicking game than I thought, yeah.
It's just those little misses, right?
Yeah.
When he's pumping them from the sideline, pissing down rain.
Here's what I love. Here's what I love about the try. The high percentage play off that turnover is to go back through the middle and then you can play both sides. But the instinctual part of him to take that short side because they had a 3-on-2 may seem obvious, but not everyone takes it.
No.
Not everyone takes it. A lot of people
sometimes-
grab it from dummy half, throw to the middle, then you can play on both sides of the field.
100%.
He looked up, he's seen the short side, it's there. All right, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck the high percentage play, let's take it.
Yeah, that's ballsy. I love that. I love that because he's a young player like that. Guys like Cherry Evans and Moses, they take that all the time. They'll get 3-on-2 with those guys, you're gone. And that's why I love seeing him play because he's just a pure footballer and he can fucking run.
Dally M went behind closed doors last week. He was at the top.
He was in the lead, yeah.
Shit.
He would have got...
He could sneaky get that fucking Dally M this year. Wow, that'd be massive.
He's probably going to get 6 points from that game. Unless
Nickel Clockstad would...
Ooh.
He would have got it. He was outstanding.
And Latrell was awesome.
Latrell would have got 1 or 2.
Yeah,
I reckon Latrell would have got 2 points. He would have got 1.
I seen Jacko after the game too.
Did you?
Yeah, went down and seen Jacko on the field. Had a chat to Jacko.
I was supposed to have a beer with him on Saturday. I just
You brushed him, did you?
I missed him.
Barnett worries me.
That's good. You're staying off the piss too. We've got a big Monday review show that we've got to be ready for.
Good on you.
No, I had a good chat to him. It was good to catch up with him because I seen him doing, like, he obviously does all the on-field stuff and they were capturing all the footage. Geez, the Warriors fans turn up.
Fucking knows.
The best supported team.
Yeah. And Canberra. Canberra looked all right last night.
Canberra.
The Raiders just travelling.
Guys with the shirts on.
They look good.
And the Wires fans only turn up if they feel like they're a chance, and they know they're a chance, don't they? They know they're a chance.
They're
heavy front runners.
Everywhere.
Heavy front runners. And also, because, I finished straight after the game, so I had the opportunity to go down. And Jacko was over there for a bit, and they had Rog over there. And I was chatting to Dallin for a little bit as well. And Lukey Metcalf walking past, just soaking it up with the fans. There's buy-in from this fucking whole club. And Jacko does a great job with Logan and the team to make sure
love to see the Warriors.
They've got footage of it all.
Love to see the Warriors win a premiership.
Be awesome.
It'd be so good.
Be
Barnett's going to be a big loss.
Yep.
He's hopefully it's just an MCL medial. It looked like it. Hopefully it's not an ACL. So 6 weeks. He'll miss the Origin thing, I think, if it's bad.
Yeah.
Medial grade 2 or something like that. It's probably 4 to 6 weeks.
Before we completely move off the Warriors, and I'll come back to the Warriors, I hope Keon's a chance.
He's got to be. He has to be.
Fuck, he's awesome.
Big Sports Breakfast, news on thing. Spoke to Cameron George last night, Warriors CEO. He's convinced it's an ACL.
Oh, fuck.
But scans have not come back, noted, but that's from Cameron George.
That's terrible.
CEO.
That's terrible news for Mitchie Barnett. Hopefully it's not as bad. Hopefully it's just a grade 3.
He's worked so hard to get in the position that he's in right now for not only the New South Wales jersey and
Australian jersey.
Mate, the Warriors are a chance and he's leading the way. He led the way when Fish wasn't playing. Him and Eric Clark were fucking unreal. That is devastating news for the Warriors.
Who comes in?
That young kid off the bench went all right.
Maybe Stefano?
You're
You're talking about Blues. Okay. Stefano.
Stefano could be a straight swap. I'd go Keon.
Yeah,
I'd
would
go
go Keon. I think he's playing better football.
Stefano?
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, I think so.
And I just reckon all the stuff around Terrell over the game one just hasn't helped his chances
You could probably start Max King, you reckon?
Yep,
You could start Max King and put old one Keon coming off the bench. Because
Max King, what a story now.
Yeah, Max can start and then you put Keon on the bench because he can play both edges and the middle. It's very rare.
But this is the part that I'm loving about the Warriors. I think they're a more complete team. I don't think they're as talented as the 2023 team when you look at Sean Johnson, Adam Fanua-Blake, Dylan Walker, Tohu Harris. But they've had a next man up mentality this year, and they finally had the full deck of cards, which allowed on the weekend for Rocco Berry to play over young tearaway Ali Lautea.
Yep.
So that's a sign that, people have to earn their jersey, and there's great competition. There's iron sharpens iron in the positions where we like that headache, Mace. So, the Warriors, you've got yourself a team.
Yeah, you have.
I'm ready to declare that.
I just hope Barnett's not fully out for the season.
That's just devastating as a fan of the game.
Yeah, I mean, because he's a premier prop. He's going to miss out on Australian tours and everything like that. I've been in that position before. It sucks.
We definitely would have had a schooner with Mitchy Barnett on the Ashes tour over there if he was playing. As for the Rabbitohs, Latrell, he was a pleasure to watch. It was a real treat to be at the game and watch Latrell yesterday on a Sunday afternoon in good conditions.
Beautiful day.
And you know what? The commitment was evident right from the start. So he got up at 4 a.m. on the morning, Thursday morning. He attended Rabbitohs training and got within the facilities and watched the boys train on Thursday. Credit to Wayne, because this is the reason we love Wayne. But you got to credit Latrell as well.
Yep.
He's been on a media ban. He's been off the piss. He's dedicated himself to the team this year, and Wayne's a huge factor for sure. Because once you have the right people leading the club, you get buy-in from senior players, and Latrell's clearly doing that. And he did everything he possibly could.
Everything
to get the Rabbitohs back in this game.
Kick goals, scored tries, set them up. That ball that he throws to AJ, God.
So go back and watch his first kick when AJ scored his first try on the opposite side from where we were calling it. It's I don't know if you need almost like a Latrell cam. So he starts off, you got all the Warriors fans behind him.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite side of the 50, you've got all the Burrows fans.
The Burrow.
So he goes like this. He kicks the goal from the sideline. And as he turns around, he's got his chest
out. Peacock.
And he's just like that, walking back, and I'm just like losing it, going, how good's this?
You got to love it, mate.
So all the Warriors fans must have been spraying him before the kick. So he pumps his chest out, and he's walking back, and then he sort of just gets to the Burrow side once he crosses 50, and then just gives him a little. Yeah. He just gave him a little.
That's right. Yeah, I love it, mate. It was a pleasure watching that. That's what do you call it? The Sunday
ticket.
Ticket.
Best Sunday ticket.
The best ticket.
Yeah.
I've ever seen. That was outstanding. Starting with this game, I love watching Latrell do this. He's got swag. He's box office. You know what I mean? He's just one of those players. If you don't like. You just got to watch him. In that situation, the only person that could have gone, fucking get us out of this, Latrell. Yeah, he nearly did. He nearly did by himself, man. I was like, it was so good to watch. I mean, it sucked them losing it, but the Warriors are the real deal. And they nearly got him slipping. Got him.
And I think the Rabbitohs are a genuine top 8 team.
Yeah.
Next week, apparently, Wayne said after the game, there's 3 returning. Cheese is a big shout soon.
Nah, on the footy show last night, he said the Souths are going to make him wait.
Okay, good. All right,
that's what they do miss because Havili can go back to the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a good job, but he's not a 9.
He was gassed, mate.
He's gassed. You play against a decent team. That ball was in play for these big long cycles, mate. It fucks the middle.
Yeah.
And he's a good bench player. He comes on, he can play lock, he can ball play with Keon and everything like that.
He's never played full-time 9.
Yeah, man.
His whole career. It's not who he is, but he's a gun player.
9, yeah. He hits hard. He's got good 40 in him. 40 or 50.
Yeah, good 40, 45 for sure. So Wayne mentioned there's going to be 3 back. So if it's not Cheese, then that must be Cody Walker, Jack Whiten, and Tyrone Munro.
Imagine those two, because that left edge looked dangerous without those guys, right? That's just Latrell just playing. He's playing kiddies out there sometimes. But imagine Cody on that left edge.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you do with Jack. He's left centre, I suppose. You got Campbell Graham on that right.
Yeah, so they had Bailey Bentley Harpy. He looks like he's done his groin, so he would have been removed anyway for Tyrone Munro. Who's the other centre? Why am I having a blank on the centre?
Jai Gray was playing everywhere.
Oh, Isaiah Tass.
Tass been playing all right.
Yeah,
been playing okay, but he'd probably have to miss or maybe go the wing. If you go for the wing for that kid that got injured.
Well, here's one thing to consider. This is another thing that Wayne said. They are very aware, not only Wayne, but he even mentioned Russell. They want AJ to get the record, basically.
It'd be so good, eh?
They view him as one of the most beloved players in Rabbitohs history.
Easy.
And Wayne talked for about a minute and a half about him and about like how underrated he is, his footy smarts. Even the first try of the second half, when Latrell finds him for that play,
Beautiful.
and I think was it Chanzu Roger nearly brought him down, or someone nearly Dallin did. So Dallin Watane-Zelezniak nearly tackles him from behind, and he just holds the ball in the air rather than letting it hit the deck, because he knew he was eventually going to slide over. That's just stuff you
He's
can't.
He's a great finisher.
That's footy smarts.
Yeah, and just how he starts on the inside of Dallin as well, knowing that Latrell's going to throw that little bit of an out ball, and he just moves ever so slightly on Dallin's outside, and then it's just that 1 meter of separation.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful to watch.
I found it interesting that Wayne mentioned Russell. So the good. So if I'm Alex Johnston in his camp, even if he doesn't get it this year, it sounds like he's going to get re-upped to make sure that he gets
Crowe,
it.
You got to. Yeah. You got to. He's got to be in that. He's got to be in that South Sydney jersey to break that record.
Agreed.
You got to re-up him for one year, and he just needs to go on 1 year deals. That intercept proved that he's back. No one looked like getting near him. He's still got that pace.
Roger was come close.
Yeah, if I had another 20, I reckon he got it.
I reckon 10. I reckon 10 he's got it.
5 minutes he's gone. But I love the fact that he got that and it's just got him to 200 even. His first play to 200.
Just quickly before we move off the intercept, Achilles injury last year, then re-aggravated and did his hamstring after a back injury. And shout out to Rog. Rog missed a couple of games with a hamstring injury. Both guys
Balls
in
out.
full flight.
Love it.
Balls out, went after each other. AJ just got there.
I loved it.
He's got 12 games this year. He's got 12 to equal the record, 13 to surpass.
Just got a couple more of these hat trick
I think
games,
he gets it.
Oh, you put Cody back in there and you
Cody
put Jack,
Walker, Jack
and you're at least going over for another 10. Easy.
Minimum 10.
And I reckon he could get 10 in just say like 3 games.
Yeah, easily.
You know what I mean? If he goes off this, he's always around.
I went and looked at his schedule. It's not like he doesn't play a lot of the lower teams, which
doesn't matter. They just score. If they're ever going to score tries, they're hardly through the middle. They're on that left edge.
Let's play a little game. Let's play a little game. This could work for him. How many can he get against Xavier Savage next week and the Raiders?
Yeah, well, that's it. That's their weak edge, isn't it?
You can jag a couple on them. There's 2.
There's 2. Canberra might win, but he'll get 2.
Can he get a couple against Blake Wilson for the Bulldogs? Or 1? Can he get you 1 against Critter and Blake Wilson?
He gets you against Blake Wilson.
All right, so let's not go 2. So let's go. I like his chances for 1 against
Critter
the
in camp.
Pardon?
Critter will be in camp.
Critter's in camp. Critter's in camp. So you might get a couple against us.
But you've got Latrell in camp now too.
So yeah, he's fucked.
That evens it out. So I like him for 1 against Xavier. I like him for 1 against Blake Wilson. I like him for 1 against Su'Falongo.
Young kid.
Sue will score 2 on you, but you'll get 1 on him.
I think he scores. I think he gets it in 8 games.
This is the game. I think Jermaine Asako at Suncorp. Wingers. I like wingers at Suncorp. He'll get 2 to 3 against Sabi.
Not Fa'alolo.
Fa'alolo could get 4, but Fa'alolo could score 2.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, then they get the bye. The Panthers right edge, Sharks right edge is pretty solid. Broncos, you can get yourself some jam there. You can definitely get yourself some jam against the Titans. The Parramatta Eels are improved, but that's the run.
Yeah.
That's the run where he could get 6 in 3 games. Titans, Eels and Dragons.
Yeah, he just needs Latrell playing. And even when back, Cody Walker's going to be back in Jack. That's all right. Latrell's a big piece to that, but he can still finish those tries off easy because that's their strike weapon down that left edge.
No Latrell, but Cody and Jack.
Yeah, but Cody's one of the greatest ball players of all time. Comes back into that fold. Imagine when they all firing on that left edge. It's going to be dangerous. All right,
the Panthers are now firing as well. They win 18-10 in a really good game. This was not a normal 17 versus 15 fixture. And I know there have been more dominant performances from them in the past 5 years, but this win had so much merit in it. Bit of Nathan, because I reckon this year they've been unable to stay in the cycle against these sorts of teams.
Yeah.
Because, they're playing Parramatta Eels. They're nowhere near the star-studded teams that they were a couple of years ago. Para lost heaps of vets. Penrith aren't playing well. They should be flogging this Eels team because they've got heaps of youngsters in there. They didn't get frustrated. They stayed in the cycle and they got a really good win.
Do you think teams knowing that, when you do stay in the cycle with Panthers that you're probably going to get beat? So you got to try and break their momentum?
Yep.
I think the last couple of years, that's what their whole game was predicated on, like 7-8 minute cycles when the ball doesn't go out or anything and they just run you into the ground. And I think Eels went toe-to-toe with them.
They did.
They went toe-to-toe. Moses and Cleary, high-speed grinds, just bang, 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 ball in play for 6 or 7 minutes. Fucking hell. And I think Panthers just grow a leg. Because you got guys like Liam Martin and Yowie and fucking Leota was outstanding, right? Yeah. Cleary
he's found it tough, Moses, this year.
Mate.
Without Fish.
Well, Lindsay he expected Lindsay Smith to take that sort of that mantle, right? But he just hasn't taken that next step.
But so as critical as you can be about Lindsay, I expect more from Moses.
Yeah, they just have all had like years where it's just maybe the big runs into the finals.
Yeah,
It's taken its toll, mate. It's taken its toll. So these players, I think the Eels tried to play how the Panthers play, and they just got tipped. Just got tipped at the end because they were there. They were right there.
Because you're right. Like when you think back to the upsets, right? Go back to the Roosters. Roosters just try to score on them and pretty much threw everything at them.
Yeah.
Whereas Parrot tried to play a controlled game against them.
Kick the game.
What about the long kicking in the game? Did you hear Mitch on? Did you watch it live on the call?
Yeah, I was watching.
He kicked the ball and went like he put that much effort into it. I heard
head down, just perfect.
I heard the noise come through him in the amount of effort he was putting through the kick actually come through the mic.
Yeah.
I swear, I was like,
he was pumping him.
And he launched it. And I think even maybe Michael Ennis was calling the game. So he said something about, geez, he put everything into that. And he was walking out. You could tell Mitch was
second half?
Yeah. He was hitting the quad and fucking trying to get it going. There must have been...
halftime was the worst thing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, come out with that little calf thing on.
Well, you've got the Liz
quad.
Frank,
yeah.
right? So that would have been... That affects everything else.
Yeah.
You get a little bit sore around the calf. You get a little bit sore around the hip flexors, the hammies. And I just seen him just smacking the hip flexor as he's walking out of the second half. But yeah, I heard him scream when he ripped one. Credit to Mitch, credit to Zach, but credit to all 5 Origin players. Out of all the 5 Origin players for Penrith, they only missed 12 minutes of footy. That was Yowie got a spell for 12 minutes. Even though, heroic and it should be applauded, this was, again, why I have my doubts or the reason I don't think Panthers will make the 8. Because in years past, they get a spell. They had Harrison Hassett on the bench, made his debut against the Knights the week before, a couple of weeks before. He played 0 minutes in this game.
Yeah, why?
Couldn't afford to. Ivan couldn't afford to get him on. You imagine if you looked at this Panthers team of 2 years ago against an Eels roster, you go, they win this game 38-0, and they're able to
rest.
Sorry, that's talking down on Parra, but just like the quality and the young players that are playing for the Eels currently, they're able to rest Nathan. They probably bring on Summerton and play him in the halves, and Nathan gets 15-minute spell. Liam Martin gets taken off at the end for Hassett, and he only plays 60. They just can't do it anymore.
Nah. And this is
so it's a huge win, but it's going to affect them long term.
Yeah, I agree. Because it was a tough game. This was like semi-finals, right? Like your first prelim, not prelim, the one just like your first.
It was a finals atmosphere.
Finals.
Yeah, it was a finals atmosphere.
What is going on here? That's how much it meant to the Panthers.
Intensity.
They're just like, we need to start this fucking machine up, and this is where it starts. The Eels, and the Eels are up for the fight. Since that old Battle of the West out there, you've played in those games, so Panthers are outstanding.
Battle of the Young Guns. I asked you this question. Have you seen my notes?
Well, no, I haven't. But I was quickly before you get to your Young Guns, go to the OGs. Leota and Paulo.
Outstanding.
When he ran at him, and then he gets up. He's in the ruck.
I saw that. Then he fucking Back slammed him.
For years, if you've watched them, they've gone toe to toe, and I reckon maybe once or twice a game they acknowledge each other.
Yeah,
they have a little moment, and they might have a good hit against each other, and they get up and they have a bit of a smile and they get on with their job.
Yeah,
But
it was just a good moment.
yeah, I love
Junes
it. I love
good.
it. Seeing
Junes
that.
was outstanding.
Yeah, Junes has been
Start of the
unreal.
day. He's been
Junes
really
is
good.
fucking playing. Last year was a down year. He got injured. He had the foot injury as well. People forget about that. Junes has been really good. I
looks
talked about him a
outstanding.
couple of weeks ago.
To the young guns.
Blaze Talangi versus Isaiah Yongi.
Yongi is the closest thing. Everyone was trying to say something. The other kid, Papali'i, was like Tuivasa. That's the worst take ever. Isaiah Yongi is the closest thing to Tuivasa I've seen for a little bit. 2012-13 when he was a young kid.
So Joash Papali,
Yeah.
do you mean? So
Yeah.
he's a different pronunciation.
Someone said it on the commentary. Like, yeah,
He's like Roger?
compared to Roger, I'm like, nowhere near that. This Yongi kid is
You
is
reckon
the closest
Yongi?
thing.
That's
yeah.
huge rap.
Yeah.
Because I know how much you think
he's
of young Rog.
Yeah. And young, I remember playing against young Rog. He was like, he's built like that. Like, he's stacked now, Rog. But like that Yongi kid, footwork, strong, well balanced, like just strong as hell.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Really strong. He's the closest thing.
You know what the thing is with Papali? It's the hop and the skip.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's it. Like, and he's going to be a
Nothing
young,
else.
good player. But Isaiah Yongi, who's Isaiah Yongi? Someone had a comp for him.
No,
I'm
you
sure.
had a comp for him.
No,
said
Mace
Haynes.
had a comp for him a couple of weeks ago that I thought was better.
You said
Was it
Hainsey a few
Tuivasa?
weeks ago.
No, I wouldn't have said that.
Or maybe I saw that somewhere.
No, we were talking about content. I'd love to do content with them too. Maybe that's why you got that mixed up.
No, someone said it's sort of his body shape when he first saw
No,
it
he's
coming
nowhere
through.
near Hainsey.
No.
Hainsey. Anyway, we'll think about it as we
I thought
keep
I
going.
said Tuivasa
But-
with Yongi last week.
No, you said it
No.
to me. We were talking.
No,
Yeah,
you had a better one for him. But I like it, but
Yeah,
just
okay.
because he doesn't have that.
Yeah. That
Fuck, it's
proper
annoying me.
step, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Anyway, we'll figure it out later
Yeah.
on. If it comes back to me, I'll bring it up. But who's winning the trade?
I think.
Para.
I think Parra are winning
Yeah,
it.
Yongi's he's a 10-year player. Blake Solangi is as well, but I'm not sure if he is
Do
a
you think
6.
Blaze Talangi has better upside, more upside?
No,
I
I
think he
like
does.
Yongi, man. Like, I think he can play centres, fullback, wing. He's got a lot of footy in him.
This might not make sense to people watching, but you understand
Yeah.
this. I think Blaze Talangi has more upside, but I would take Isaiah Yongi because I know what I'm going to get from him.
Yeah, right now.
Just
because I think
yeah.
Blazers can put on about 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 kilos
Yeah.
of muscle.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be talking.
He could become special.
Yeah, because he's still got a little boy's body.
I think Isaiah Yongi is going to be really good for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Isaiah,
I agree.
Yeah, he's got a bit of Dylan Edwards about him. Just that sort of fucking. He's just relentless.
Yeah, he's fit. He's fit as hell.
Yeah.
That's coming through that Penrith system.
Yeah.
And taking Blaze a little bit to get involved in.
Same. That whole left edge.
Yeah.
So I've got the notes here because they dropped Alamotti too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
So you get Casey McLean played his best game for Penrith this year, and Milky Jenkins is just solid. he just does. Milky just does a job. man.
Outstanding.
You know what? Paul Alamotti is so much more talented than Milky Jenkins, but that's not how fucking rugby league
It's not
works.
how it is.
Sometimes you just got guys that are just going to keep turning up,
Yeah.
do the right things, not give you a 7 out of 8 out of 10 every game, and don't give you a 6. And not to say that.
Consistent.
I haven't been watching Alamotti closely enough to sort of figure out how bad he's been playing because I've seen some really good performances at the start of the year.
Yeah,
so
I thought he was all right.
It was confusing me, but I haven't seen something different. And just for younger players that who are trying to make their way in the game, Milky Jenkins is a great representation of a guy that just was coming through the system at Penrith.
Yeah.
Then he got a deal to go to Newcastle. I think he got a 2-year deal for better money. So he left Penrith. He had to go back through fucking Ron Massey.
Yeah. Did he really?
He was fucking playing Ron.
What a legend. I love you, Milky Jenkins.
He had no contract at Penrith, so he goes, I'm going to back myself to go back to Penrith, play Ron Massey, I believe, or some form.
build my way back
and
up.
build myself into New South Wales Cup, and now he's playing first grade
Good on you,
consistently.
kid. Deserve everything.
Love that. Also impressed with what Riles is doing at the Parramatta Eels, Mason Lukey.
Yeah.
His ability to install belief in this team so quickly
Yeah.
is
From round 1 to round 14 now,
Wait.
like what has happened?
Let me go. I'll show you.
64-0, wasn't it?
I'll tell you the exact round. You'll know the round 2. What round am I going to go to, Lukey?
Which one?
Round
The Dogs?
6, 50-12 against the Canberra Raiders up at Darwin. If that's not a reason to get rid of Darwin, I know that was the last time they were playing at Darwin.
Never play.
That is also the last time we ever seen the baby Eels. From that point on, they went on
a couple of buys since then.
the next week. They went on and beat the Tigers and got revenge against the Tigers on that Monday night game. Remember?
Yeah.
That was the Easter Monday game. Then they had the bye. They held their hands up against the Cronulla Sharks at Magic, 28-18. Then they held their hands up and should have probably won the Dolphins game. They were coming home strong against that. Demolished the Knights at Marathon, McDonald's, sorry. Then they tailed up Manly, 30-10 without Ches. And they go down bravely against the Penrith Panthers.
Yeah. How
Fuck,
much
it's been a good couple of months.
Is that
for
the
Eels.
Moses effect though? You can attribute that to because
Fuck
that's
yeah.
when he
So-
came back, obviously.
It starts
Big
from the
time.
top. Mitch has returned at that time. Another big one, an underrated one. Dylan Walker.
Dylan
Sorry,
Walker.
I would go that over Moses.
Not over
no
Moses.
way.
No, the effect that he's had.
No way in the world you're picking Dylan Walker bigger impact than Moses.
So
Moses steps on the ground and he's fucking
So
impacting.
wait. They got their first victory against Dragons with Dylan Walker, first game. Dylan Walker was a part of the 50-12 against the Canberra Raiders as well, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that sort of cancels it. Then Mitch returned against the Tigers, 38-22. And just as a whole, Jason Rolls, Mitch returning, and the Dylan Walker effect is evident.
Simultaneous.
Simultaneous.
He's got them going good. They're backing each other. They're going out there and they're expecting to compete with anybody now.
Yep.
They're not. That first month would have been rough for everyone. Then going through the Dylan Brown shit and everything like that, and then come through that.
Well, just to
They're
think, he
alright.
was supposed to play round one, Mitchell Moses, and then the little week leading in, that's when he got pulled.
Yeah,
So
but
it's sort of a train wreck.
they're probably ahead of schedule. What Rosie was thinking.
For sure they are.
Presser, did you watch that?
Yes. So here's my point with the presser. And this is why I think these two are going to make a good match. You know how much I body language, all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. Mitch can't hold in his emotions.
No, because he does this when he wants to talk. He puts his hand and covers his mouth.
Hey, Mitchie, I'm telling you, he wants to be a winner.
Yeah,
He's passionate. He gets frustrated. Jason Rolls is the opposite. He's well thought out. He deflects any praise that he gets. He keeps he's accountable. He doesn't talk about the opposition or penalties or referees. And you can see Mitch is just sitting there sometimes and just going, fuck. And there are some players that are just young players that just aren't up to first grade level at the moment. But Riles is, massaging them through. And Mitchie just
got to, man.
Do you see the frustration with Mitchie on Jack Williams?
Jackie.
Like he's like, fucking get in that fucking hole.
Yeah.
Don't drop underneath me.
Yeah.
Jack was unreal, but Jack's been unreal.
That turned Jack's game around.
Jack's been
Line
unreal.
break.
But it's just the yin and yang effect for the leadership there, and I think it's going to serve him well.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's like a contrast of body language in the press conference.
So-
Jason Riles has been trained. He's sitting there. He's got his hands locked like
Yeah.
this and just answering. And Mitch is sitting there and he's looking at him. And then someone will ask Riles a question that Mitch disagrees with, and he has to literally cover his mouth.
And that's the thing
As
with
if he
Riles.
was
Yeah,
talking.
I like that
that's
you've seen
exactly
it.
what it is, right? The maturation process with Riles. He's a grown-ass man. He's 46 years old. He should be able to hold himself. He's a professional, right?
Yep.
He's been in such big teams like Melbourne and Roosters. They're all about that.
Yeah,
Like,
apprenticeship.
he's done his apprenticeship well, and now he knows exactly how to act.
For as you know what, and he's mentioned this before, for as animated as Belly is in the boxes and some of the shit that he says and some of the shit that he thinks, he never says that in press.
No.
Never throws his players under the bus,
No.
always says the right things, always takes full accountability. Robbo, even though sometimes I disagree with some of his takes, he's well thought out.
Yeah.
He presents himself really well. He actually puts some thought into what's going to be asked, and you can tell Jason has taken both of those
Because
attributes.
Rolsey, I played with Rolsey when Kangaroo Tours with Rolsey. He's wild. He fucking used to say some crazy shit. So he's trained himself. So credit to Rolsey. He's a fucking actual NRL future fucking great coach. You know what I mean? He's proven it now.
And we've dealt with Mitch now in the last couple of years, and I've known Mitch since he was a kid because he used to play against my brother Jaden growing up, and I was mate to his older brother. Mitch just wants to tell it how it is.
Yeah.
And there's mate,
Be
there
a
are
good
great.
podcaster when he's retired.
He would.
He'd be a gun podcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's I seen the clips for his episode with the boys. It was fucking a really good potty
Yeah.
too, by the way. But yeah, you want it's good. They're going to work well together. It's Mitch has got to find the way now on the field to somehow pull that frustration back in and just be a little bit more level because with the communication with the refs in particular. That's something he still needs to work on, even at this point of his career, because everything else is just like credit to
He's in
him,
his
right?
prime
My big
now.
thing with Mitch, and I was watching this game, I was like, I reckon 3 or 4 years ago, you talk about the maturation process with him. I don't reckon he comes back to this level of team that he's got currently with the Parramatta Eels and where they're sitting on the ladder after the highs of a great Origin win and performs the way he did.
Yeah.
He takes things like that personally, and I don't know, mate, maybe from the outside looking in, maybe he always did. Sometimes it didn't look that way with Mitch. I love that he was frustrated at Jack Williams because that shows that he cares.
I love
about
that shit. I don't know what everyone else is sort of going, he was like that. No, I'm just saying
there was none of that.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's what you expect from your halves.
Yeah.
I expect that from if I did that, like, to any of the halves, like Shifty, they'll be spraying the shit out of you. Braith and Joey and Joe. Sorry. All you got to do is say, yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah.
I'll be better next time.
Yeah, but with the way that you're playing, sometimes you see halves out there just like, as opposed to blowing up.
There you go.
I want the blow up.
Who am I gonna say now?
Katoa.
Katoa. My man knows it. Katoa sometimes he lets because he's got veterans there.
Yeah.
Tom Gilbert, Felice Kafusi. I'm not saying they make a shitload of errors. Daniel Saifidi, Ray Stone. What are you going to say to fucking Ray Stone? Probably turn around and flog you, right?
Razor Ramon will just fucking put a two-piece on you.
Isaiah's got now. He's the dude. He's clearly the dude. The next part of his game is fucking come on, boys. Shit's not good enough.
Yeah. And that'll be the process, right? The maturation process with him. He's 21 years old. He's going to be the future of the game.
Zay Yongi, awesome. Dylan Brown's played really good the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's the biggest beneficiary.
When he come out of the in goal and put his head where Lindsay Smith's fucking knees were,
Twice.
I'm like,
he did in the second half
but
as
that
well.
first one was like, hey, you fucking knock yourself out there.
If you're a Parramatta Eels fan, if you're disappointed with Dill Brown moving on and you think he's not going to rip in for the jersey, go back and watch that fucking one effort.
But from a bloke who didn't take a hit up in the second half, but about 8 weeks ago, to doing that, I'm like, where does this come from? He's probably found peace with himself. I got to rip in every single game for Parramatta. They've been good to me. I'll give you everything.
It makes a difference when you're not completely just tackling and on doing 6 tackle sets for fucking defensively as well. You're able to get in and
you're competing. Well, you're competing. And, all right, if I put my body on the line, I could inspire the players. We could get this win.
Yeah.
That's the whole mindset. Instead of like, we're getting beat by 60. Fuck this joint. I'm going to fucking sign a 10-year deal with Knights. Fuck you. Thanks, Melbourne.
All right, where are we? Last game. I've got Raiders 40, but they didn't score 40.
No, was it closer than that, wasn't it? Was it 30?
Yeah, because that was the score against the Dolphins maybe a couple of weeks ago. Where are we? Raiders 26, the Roosters 24. Ricky's Rookies. They're a genuine title threat.
Yeah.
In a wide open competition. I know your Bulldogs are currently first, Mace, and I know they dealt with them in the second half about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Raiders learned from that. That was an immature team. They're still young, and that could be a problematic at the end of the season.
Canberra hasn't had any buys either. They've won the most games.
Round 15.
We've had 2 buys.
Round 15 is the first bye. So what has been, could be perceived a weakness going into round 15, if they're able to jag one more game and get a strong victory going. I hope they don't fall into a false sense of security next week. And who are they playing? Let me get it up.
They'd like
RABBITOHS.
Yeah, they're on that. Did you see Hot Tamale? Like Lindsay Collins grabs him and he just goes, whoof, just shrugs him off. He's 115 kilos.
He's so strong, mate.
Super strong.
Super strong.
Far out. Like, I mean, Xavier Savage was good.
Yep.
No silly mistakes. I don't think he made a mistake. He scored a good try. Like I don't think he's cut that little mistake out.
Even though I don't want a mistake, the mistakes sometimes he's got that in the game, and you want to eliminate or try to get that out of his game as best you can. It's the defensive reads sometimes that him and Tumakor come up with, and they've been a lot better the last couple of weeks. Yeah, they've been a lot better.
They sort of backed off, and they backed off, and there's communication there. You can see it. You can see they've been working at it at training, right?
The Bulldogs game.
Yeah, because after they got skinned.
Yep. So they got skinned by the Dolphins, but still got a result. Then they got fucking run down by the Bulldogs. Yeah. And then the week after, someone else had the Titans even had some joy against them. Yeah. So whatever Ricky's been doing.
So for them to be a full-on threat, they need that edge because the good centers will be coming at you, and the halves and everyone who's got a good right side. And that looked like a strength of theirs. They didn't get through them at all.
I like Ethan Sanders. He's put on 5 kilos from last
Looks
year.
bigger, doesn't he? Jeez.
Looks a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
full
all right.
pre-season, probably maybe one more full one away, which is perfect for the Raiders.
Weird having two left foot kickers.
Two lefties?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
You love having a lefty, but not two.
But it's lucky they've got that little fella coming off the bench with the right foot.
Owen Paddy.
Yeah, Paddy
Yeah.
sort of straigens things up. I like him. This I can't pick a grand final now. There's about 6 or 7 teams, 8 teams that can be in this grand final this year. It's that wide open.
Your Bulldogs are just sitting back watching
Yeah,
everyone over
you just
the weekend.
don't know. You just don't
doing
know.
defensive. Did you see the clips with Lachlan and they're going through?
Do you see Lachlan's hair? It looked like
Did you,
Lockie
so
Galvin's hair. Look like fucking Lloyd Christmas.
you got the critter fringe cut. That's what I wrote on the comments.
Or what is it? Simple Jack.
Stay away from that one. Stay away from that one. I know where you're going with the Tropic Thunder. Don't go full Tropic Thunder on us. You can't go full Tropic Thunder.
But it'll be what was his name? Fuck.
Just the Bulldogs
threw
sitting
me
back
off,
watching.
threw me off,
So when
Galvin.
I seen that clip, this sums up what Serrato is and where Lockie Galvin's at in his game.
Be interesting
right
to see, like watch him move. I might just show my face at training on Tuesday or Wednesday when they're doing their defensive sort of setups. See how his movements are.
now. He had Josh Curran there sitting down in a chair doing defensive patterns.
It's fucking awesome.
So you've come in first day of training, no one else is around, going, "Hey boys, I need a couple of people to come out," and we're taking Lockie straight out there, and we're doing edge defense with him.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of information. So I wonder how quickly he can get it in, process it, and download it. Right. So I'm pretty sure that he would have been asked a lot of questions like through Serrato, and if he doesn't understand the defensive principles and everything, he won't be getting chucked straight into first grade.
I believe that.
Yeah. So you got these players that have had a whole preseason and everything there, and they've earned the right to be in that position. We've acquired Lockie Galvin for the future, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. Even this week,
Teamless Tuesday.
If he can,
Teamless Tuesday's gonna be fun.
even if he can if he can pick those defensive patterns up, and I don't think it would be out of his realm. You know what I mean? Like everyone's sort of similar, got a defensive system where Ciro's is a little bit more detailed than I say the Tigers. A little bit more, but
Well, if you believe-
if you look at Luai's movements and I think he would have been picking Luai's brain, how he moves.
Yep.
I just don't think it would take him a preseason to pick it up.
Yeah. Well, if you believe the reasons for what he said, the reason he wanted to move on, this is why.
It's exactly why.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Let's go
exactly.
back to the Raiders,
Yeah,
though.
sorry.
We've got a bit of a tangent
Yeah.
there for the Bulldogs. Credit to Sticky for sticking
Yeah.
with KO Weeks.
Yeah.
KO Weeks first month,
Awful.
going into the Parramatta game, that Parramatta game where they were so good, I went,
I remember you saying it.
Zach Lomax, I'd be sending Zach Lomax at him every time. Zach missed that game because he hurt his foot against the Dragons the week before. He played well. He got confidence out of that game. He was still a little bit scratchy. He's been Canberra's best in the last month.
Yeah.
He's been awesome.
He's got that X factor. Him that back five, they're strong. They come at you. They got everything. They are tackle busters. And that's what sucks. That's what you want.
Yeah.
As your back five, you want that Tamale, you want Timoko, you want all these guys coming out of yardage, finding their ground, finding their front, busting a few tackles, throwing Lindsay Collins on his back. It's demeaning. Do you know what I mean? It was like I was watching him do some shit. I was like, oh, fuck that. Imagine just getting thrown on your back from a winger. Be like, fuck this. He played Origin on Wednesday.
He's had a rough sort of couple of weeks, Lindsay, because he returned, didn't play all that well and missed an assignment on Bailey Hayward. Then Origin doesn't go his way. So not only that encounter with Tamale, but also, I don't know if you've seen Billy Smith come screaming out of the line to make that tackle on KO Weeks off the kick return. Then he misses him. You know who the poor two, not Paul, the two that were out on the edge. Angus Crichton would have been furious at Billy Smith, who was, by the way, excellent.
Yeah, he was
all
good.
heart, going after the game. It's just game awareness. You don't like KO Weeks, Xavier Savage, and Savelio Tamale. You have to have a full complement of your line against him. If you go out and try to make a play like Billy Smith did, you have to make the tackle.
Yeah.
So then he skins.
Now I know what play you're talking about.
He comes off the left foot, and then he burns Angus Crichton and Lindsay Collins and Angus Crichton nearly trip over each other trying to chase him.
Crichton would have just couldn't get there. What about just for him to get that ball right and just to look at the field and go, okay, where's the fucking crease here, right? where I can go at, and just to get on the outside of Crichton and smoke him, you know what I mean?
I wonder if he's able to quickly recognise that it's Billy Smith that's there, and then
get-
go, all right, there
I've
must
got to
be a
go
hole
right.
that side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or
Like
is
to,
that
to
just his favourite
download,
side?
just to download that fucking quick, boom, then back inside to fucking. I was like, wow, that's a play.
I love
That
him.
is a play.
I love him. I love KO Weeks. I love Ethan Strange. I love Owen Paddy. I love obviously Fogarty the OG will be back, but I love if for whatever reason Sanders looks like he's got a great temperament about him.
Yeah.
He's like the average age of that spine, removing Danny Levi who started, because really it's just to make sure that Owen Paddy was taken out of the start of the game.
Yep.
It's a 21-year-old spine.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. They're back. They've got a future there, don't they? That Mariota he looks like a young pupper.
Yeah.
If you go back to like 2012, 13, how he was a different body size then, he looks good. Mariota runs hard, man.
Mariota, Simi Sasangi, Morgan Smithies, obviously Joseph Tarpany.
Smithies had his little shoulder
good.
pads on last
Yeah,
night,
nice.
didn't he?
Mate, he's a
He was
goer.
whacking. He hit Crichton first up. He got someone else in the second half. Clean hitter.
He's a tough bugger.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't seen him hit that clean.
Yeah.
Like there's some
Normally he's a
great
worker.
technique, man.
Yeah, normally he's a worker.
Yeah, but you run. I think if you run straight at him now the tip sheet, footwork at him.
He's got a trophy at Wigan. So he's
he
probably
can
the
fucking
only
play, man.
He's probably the only player that's got some fucking premiership credentials behind him.
Tarpanay was outstanding. The
Tarps is
Bra did his thing. Hardy Young. Fuck. That's a side. They can win the comp, Canberra. I
They
just
can-
think now everybody who's in that top, I reckon, 10 teams right now thinking, we can win the comp. Simply because Panthers are down below and they're going to make it as hard as they can for them for those guys to get into the top 8. They're thinking, this is anyone's.
And Melbourne aren't playing like
Yeah,
Melbourne yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. I get it.
Roosters. What?
I'm just looking at the ladders. So fascinating.
Yeah, fucking oath.
They're 3 points off 8, right?
Yeah, it's only 3 points.
God, if they slip into the 8 and go on a run, fuck this.
I'm so impressed with what the Roosters are doing at the moment. I'm so impressed. Robbo, and I sort of was... This is exactly what I said at the start of the year. And, of course, the Roosters want to get a win, and they were in a position to get the win, and they end up falling short. But I was so excited to see what Robbo was able to do with this young team. And we go back to the development thing a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Man, they've got some young kids coming through at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're going to be long-term first graders for the Roosters for a
There's
while.
about 5 of them coming off the bench and starting and just getting...
In and out.
Yeah, the Steep and the other kids that sort of playing hooker. And
Steep's a gun.
Yeah, I like him. Victor Radley. Fuck,
Man,
what do you do?
yeah.
Just...
I was so surprised they let him back on, eh?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a grade 2.
No.
Just I would go off your history.
Yeah.
If that was a kid who's never been hit like that before, I'd say grade 2.
You have to consider, right?
Do you know what I mean? You
He
have
looked
to
dejected like he wasn't going to come back on.
Exactly. It was the walk off of like, fuck, I can't come back on.
You know who you love? Thicketti.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because Lasalu, who didn't play in this game, he's more of the defender,
Yeah.
but Thicketti can do it
got
both
some footy.
sides. So does Steep.
Yeah,
They've got some footy in him.
really good kids, and they've got really good kids coming through. I remember playing them in the last couple of years. Their SG ball, that's all their SG ball kids coming through because they were so dominant. Like Harold Matt's SG ball, say 3 years ago, they would have been 16, 17. Now they're all about 20, 21, all hitting the scene at the same time. So that's what you want. That's recruitment, great recruitment,
Yep.
and getting them through the system, and they all hit nearly within 2 years.
That's what the Raiders are doing now.
Yeah.
The Roosters, I think, are maybe
what
2 years
Panthers
away.
did. That was the
Yeah.
Panthers' blueprint.
Yeah.
The Panthers' blueprint. You just got
True.
to take time. It's the Bulldogs' blueprint, what we're trying to do.
Yep.
Trying to get these young kids all coming in through in about 2 or 3 years. It's all about recruitment, getting those best 16, 17-year-olds. And the Roosters don't miss. I usually get all the best young 17, 18-year-olds, sit them in there, and then they just wait.
It's a good point because people always bring up when Gus first started, he had to bring in some veterans at Penrith in order to unearth and develop the players at Penrith. He's done that. Ricky's also done that by getting Super League players from in different ways and recruiting guys like some of the guys that he's nailed in Joseph Tarpany, like a little bit into their career, has been awesome. But there's clearly a path for Canberra. Now the Roosters are sort of going through that where Yes, they're still going to have to buy a few top tier players. Like got Reece Robson.
Yeah.
Ches is a weird one for the Roosters right now, and
He's like, where does he fit?
man, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a done deal. I just think Chaz would be thinking, oh, can I sit in? Can I go to the Gold Coast? You know what I mean? Do I help Katoa? Like, I don't know.
I think retirement's the big one.
He could. I think it's. He said it all along. No one bought it. Everyone thought it was just to deflect. I really think, and I've said this all along, Manly were just not interested in re-signing Ches. I think it's the wrong decision, but whatever. They made that decision. They made it out like he was always doing shit behind the scenes. He's said from day one, or not day one, he said that he was open to looking at different teams. He then said he's talked to a few teams, but by no means do I think anything's like completely done. Most likely, I think he ends up at the Roosters, but fuck, what do you do with Savala? And Sandon Smith's going to be the player that leaves.
Yeah.
Roosters won't let go of Savala.
Yeah.
He's got the long kicking game that they're just yearning for. Sammy Walker doesn't have it.
Nah.
Sandon Smith don't have it as a pairing.
This is a weird,
I think it was Sandon's, the Eels one that I brought up last episode.
I don't like Sandon for the Eels as well. Where did I like Sandon? I reckon Sandon suits the Tigers style of play. I think he could pair up with Jerome, Sandon Smith. Because Sandon Smith, he is an instinctual player. Yeah, he wants to play footy. If you look at the way that, he could work at the Eels. He could work at the Eels. But the reports are apparently his management have come out and said that he wants to dig in and compete, and also, which is a great sign for him.
I think the Roosters are on something. They could go on a bit of a. They recruit a couple of really good players, right? And then they have this. They keep unearthing these young kids.
If you add Cherry Evans, Reece Robson, and potentially your Parramatta recruit Joseph Manu to this team.
Yeah, but then you look at Toya dominating that right edge. Do you swap him with Manu?
Manu
it sort of takes off the.
Not six. No, he comes back in the back line.
I honestly don't even consider him even coming back. But like they're going all right. They're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Then they're getting coached.
But
what everyone was skeptical on, can Robbo coach? Because you've had such a massive, deep roster.
Yep.
Now you don't. Well, the proof's in the pudding.
I've never been critical of Robbo's coaching ability.
Oh, yeah, yes.
I've been, and not just me, there have been a number of people that have been critical of him not getting the results with a top-tier team and roster that he's had. Now, though, I think this is he's always been a good coach, but for whatever reason, there's different pressures with that, right?
He's playing with house money this year.
He's playing with house money.
Yeah.
And when you're Nick Politis, you expect results.
Yeah.
It's fuck all about the pressure outside and external pressure. The pressure within.
There's more.
Yeah,
there's way more than the external pressure. Roosters make the top 8, they'll be fine. That's all. They just they can't be a bottom 4 team.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, they're proven to us now, and I think to all the pundits and everything out there that they can stick with anyone.
I think they're a 9 to 12 team this year.
Yeah, they need to go on a bit of a run.
That's where I think they finish, 9 to 12. And then next year, straight back in the top 8.
That's what I'm saying. A win, if top 8 is a win this year.
Yep, agreed. That was a deep breakdown. It's good to have fucking proper games back, and 7 games back. And let us know how you think about the episode.
Bye-bye.